Chapter 2407. You are so lucky that you can get 3 chances to choose treasures in the treasure house, which has not happened for a long time in the college. If the news is spread, many people will envy you. Li Xiong was leading the way, with an envious look on his face. Many people wanted to go into the treasure house of the capital college, but only a few people could enter in the end, unless you could complete a certain amount of contribution points. Lin Fei's luck was pretty good. He was able to get 3 chances to choose treasures. Here we are. In front of a house that was not conspicuous, Li Xiong showed a rare, dignified look. He was completely different from before, as if a bloodthirsty beast was standing in front of him. Lin Fei asked the little devil to scan the house. In less than a few seconds, he got the detailed information, and he was very shocked. There was a secret in this house. On the surface, there was nothing, but in fact, there were hidden dragons and crouching tigers inside. It was no less than a dragon's pool and a tiger's den. Whoever came here would die. Li Xiong's dignified look became normal. There are so many masters in the capital college. Who can think that there will be another scene in an ordinary house? After taking a deep breath, Li Xiong walked to the house. Follow me. Don't walk around. It's dangerous here. They came to the door, and Li Xiong pushed it open. As soon as the door was opened, they were greeted by the smell of antique, and rows of bookshelves appeared in front of them. Warrant! An old man appeared in front of Li Xiong without warning. The old man was dressed in ordinary clothes and had white hair, just like ordinary people. He raised his head slightly and stretched out a hand. Elder Wu Ming, this is the warrant of the dean. Li Xiong took out something and handed it to the old man, respectfully. The old man took the warrant, glanced at it, and then his eyes fell on Lin Fei. Follow me. Oh my God, this Elder Wu Ming is actually an 8th-stage professional, and his combat power has reached a terrifying 85 million. It's really terrifying. Lin Fei followed the Elder Wu Ming, and he was secretly shocked. With such a peak-level expert guarding the treasury, no matter how many people came, it would be useless. The most terrifying thing was that this nameless elder had sealed his own strength, making him look like an ordinary old man. That was the most terrifying thing about him. All right, we're here. You can walk around the entire treasury as you please, and even choose your treasures. Elder Wu Ming led Lin Fei all the way to the center of the treasury. However, you can only choose 3 treasures. If you want to secretly take away the extra treasures, you won't get anything, even if you have the dean's warrant. Thank you for your reminder, Elder. I understand. Elder Wu Ming glanced at Lin Fei and turned to leave. Lin Fei felt that the last glance was more of a warning. As for whether it was true or not, only Elder Wu Ming knew. 3 treasures. I'm really looking forward to it. Lin Fei ordered the little devil to scan all the treasures in the treasury. He couldn't look through them one by one. That would waste too much time. He only had 2 hours to choose. 2 hours was not a long time. But if he really wanted to pick out something good, 2 hours was too short. Lin Fei walked around casually and didn't look through the things on the bookshelves. There was a layer of energy seal on these things, which added a lot of trouble when choosing treasures. Interesting. Looks like it won't be easy to choose 3 treasures. Lin Fei continued to look around as he walked. In fact, he was waiting for the little devil's scan results. He didn't care much about treasures. It was better to get some energy wall stones. The more the better. Therefore, on this trip, Lin Fei was prepared to choose 3 priceless treasures to exchange for some energy wall stones. If he took these things out, no one would say anything. Another place in the treasury. Elder Wu Ming couldn't help but shake his head slightly. Young people nowadays. He no longer paid attention. In the time it took to smoke a cigarette, the little devil had a result. Lin Fei looked left and right. In the eyes of others, at most, it was because there were too many things and they couldn't see any problems. Master, there are countless treasures in this place. There are more than 100,000 of them, including weapons, elixirs, cultivation techniques, armors, and so on. Lin Fei stopped the little devil from continuing. I'm not here to listen to nonsense. I want to choose a few priceless treasures. Do you have anything for me to consider? Humph, aren't you looking down on me? There are more than 100,000 treasures. I have already selected a batch of suitable treasures for Master. A list appeared in front of Lin Fei, indicating the specific location. With a rough glance, there were dozens of treasures, all of which he had never heard of before. Lin Fei was secretly shocked. The Academy's foundation is really deep. The treasures that can be selected by the little devil must be extraordinary. There were so many treasures that he didn't know how to choose. Do you have any suggestions? Lin Fei asked. Master, if you want to get more energy wall stones, then you need to choose a few special and rare treasures. First of all, special treasures, such as opening a mystic realm. There must be a large chamber of commerce in the capital city. When you sell them, there will be many people who want them. Second, some treasures that can increase one's strength. It just so happens that the Institute has a few of them. Lin Fei really didn't know what to choose. After the little devil's explanation, he knew what he should choose. As the saying goes, the treasures had to be special. Right now, Lin Fei didn't lack anything except energy wall stones. The more of these things, the better, and the more, the better. Got it. Lin Fei thought for a moment, walked over to an elixir not far away, and stood in front of it. Enhancement elixir, cultivation breaking elixir, one of the forbidden elixirs of the Empire. After taking it, one's combat strength can be increased by 20 times. The time limit is 1 hour. The elixir in front of the bookshelf had a record of the elixir's history and a certain amount of contribution points. The number was very high. Even an elder might not be able to trade for it. A forbidden elixir that could increase one's strength by 20 times was something that many people coveted, even in the Empire. The first one was this cultivation-breaking elixir. Soon, Lin Fei came to the next place. It was a special bone, obtained from a mystic realm in ancient times. The owner of the bone was a powerful astral beast. According to the current classification of strength, it had reached the peak of the 9th profession transition. The entire bone was golden and glossy. This kind of beast bone was also priceless in the Empire. It could be used as the main material for making weapons. It was indestructible and was a priceless treasure. Lin Fei didn't need this material, but it was very useful to others. A good weapon could give him a certain advantage. This was the second treasure. For the last treasure, Lin Fei chose a sealed heart. Rumor had it that it came from an ancestor of the demon god empire. It was useless to human experts, but it could be used to make elixirs. But to the demon experts of the demon god empire, it was good stuff. Once it was refined, it could inherit a portion of its power. Chapter 2408. In the old dean's room, the white-haired old dean was flipping through the documents. Everyone guessed wrong. That kid is really muddle-headed. He tossed the documents to someone else. This person was the old man from before. Muddle-headed? Interesting. The old man laughed. Did he take away the good things in your treasury? Well, he said that his hands did not stop moving. He took the documents and flipped through them. The forbidden pale level-breaking elixir increases combat power by 20 times the bones of an ancient star beast, a top-notch material for refining weapons. The old man was very calm. Hey, there's also a powerful demon heart from ancestral master Tongtian of the demon god empire. The old man thought that he was smart, but when he saw the 3 items, he was a little confused. What was that kid trying to do? With their eyesight, they could naturally tell whether the items were good or bad. The 3 items were all very special and priceless, but their effects on cultivation were very ordinary. The only good thing was the star beast skeleton, which could be used to forge top-notch weapons. As for the rest, they were nothing in their eyes. The old dean's expression was also very ugly. The 3 items could at most be sold for a high price, but their effects on cultivation were not good at all. That kid is muddle-headed. The old dean was furious. He's too willful. The old dean attached great importance to a future top-notch professional expert. The restoration of the Capital Institute's glory was mostly due to this Lin Fei. Ha 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 ha. The old dean laughed. The 3 treasures that Lin Fei had chosen from the treasury were naturally not a big secret. In less than half a day, the documents were on the desks of some people. Everyone had different reactions, as if they were all shocked. The items that Lin Fei had chosen were not what they had imagined. The most valuable item was probably the bones of the star beast. How interesting! A foreigner is indeed a foreigner. He actually wasted such a good opportunity. Maybe he would have made the same choice in the Empire's treasury. Ha ha ha! He has eyes but cannot see. Of all the things he could have chosen, he just had to choose these. He wasted 3 opportunities for nothing. Humph. Even if that kid is talented, he won't be able to achieve much in the future with his methods. Holy Lady, should we contact that kid? Outside the imperial capital, inside a luxurious mansion, ever since Holy Maiden Qianlan had completed a deal, her status in her own empire had risen significantly. She was quite famous among the Holy Maiden candidates, and at the same time, she had gained the attention of many people in the upper echelons. This is a good start. After dealing with some matters, Qianlan quietly returned to the imperial capital, ready to wait for the mysterious person to come again. According to the analysis of the upper echelons of the empire, the mysterious avenger was definitely not from the Tianmen Taoism. He was merely borrowing the name of the Tianmen Taoism. If anyone could reach an agreement with this mysterious person, it would be of great help to the empire. The mysterious avenger didn't come. Instead, he heard a piece of good news. No, Qianlan was very resolute. It's not good to contact him at this time. I don't know whether that kid is really stupid or just pretending to be stupid. There are so many treasures in the treasury of the Capital Institute, but he only chose these 3 treasures. But I also have to thank that kid for bringing out the demon heart of ancestor Tongtian, which is a treasure of our empire. Qianlan's face became serious. Ancestor Tongtian was originally a strange monkey. Later, he grew up to be one of the ancestors of the empire. His strength was all over the place, and he called himself Ancestor Tongtian. Later, he was killed by Emperor Yuanzhang, and his demon heart was taken away. It had been sealed in the treasury of the Capital Institute, and the demon clan had completely given up the idea of taking it back. And now is a good opportunity. Order people to monitor and follow that kid immediately, but don't act rashly and alert him. When Lin Fei chose 3 treasures, all the forces knew about it immediately and were ready to make a move. That night, Li Xiong came here with a look of exasperation and disappointment. He had missed 3 good opportunities, and what he got were ordinary treasures. Anyone would feel it was a pity and regret. Lin Fei pretended not to know and got Li Xiong's forgiveness. Since it had come to this, Li Xiong could not say anything more, so as not to stimulate Lin Fei and leave a bad impression. The next day, people came to test Lin Fei one after another. They were all senior brothers of the college, and they showed great interest in the 3 treasures. As for those who came up, Lin Fei received them all. His performance was ambiguous, but it made those who left realize that Lin Fei might have the idea of selling them. This allowed Lin Fei to be labeled as an outsider who did not understand. The various powers secretly heaved a sigh of relief. If they could exchange for the treasures in Lin Fei's hands, it would be worth it no matter what price they had to pay. This was especially so for the astral beast skeleton from the ancient era. That was a top-notch material for forging weapons. This was what everyone valued. I really made the right choice in choosing the 3 treasures. In the independent yard, seeing that the star beast bones were successfully copied, Lin Fei secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He did not go out these days. In fact, he was copying the realm-breaking elixir and the star beast bones. As for the last demon heart, it could not be copied, so he had nothing to worry about. Now it's time to take it out for auction. These days, people came and went, and everyone was testing him. Lin Fei saw it clearly. If it were not for copying, he would have taken it out for auction. Lin Fei did not care about the follow-up reaction brought by choosing 3 treasures. He hoped that they would look down on him, so as not to pay attention to him. Lin Fei got up, changed his clothes, and went straight to the largest chamber of commerce in the capital, the Expedition Chamber of Commerce. An unexpected guest came to the Expedition Chamber of Commerce today. When Lin Fei, dressed in a black robe, entered the Expedition Chamber of Commerce, the person in charge of the chamber received the news and personally came to welcome Lin Fei, giving him enough face. This was especially so after Lin Fei's 3 treasures revealed that he wanted to auction them. The person in charge of the Expedition Chamber of Commerce became even more enthusiastic. Recently, Lin Fei's limelight in the imperial capital was unparalleled. When Lin Fei entered the Expedition Chamber of Commerce, the person in charge knew what this genius wanted to do. The most likely was to auction the treasures in his hands. The only thing he did not expect was to auction the 3 treasures in one go. This was definitely out of everyone's expectations. After the discussion, Lin Fei left the Expedition Chamber of Commerce. The 3 treasures were left in the Chamber of Commerce. The person in charge promised that they would be auctioned in 3 days and would be the finale of the auction. After Lin Fei left, the person in charge immediately went to the top floor of the Chamber of Commerce and placed the 3 treasures on the table. Mr. President, the items are here. They are genuine. That kid is really determined to auction them. No wonder he chose these 3 treasures. All right, you can go out and make preparations. Announce to the public that the 3 treasures will be auctioned in 3 days. Make sure to let all the major powers in the capital know. The person in charge obeyed and turned to leave. Chapter 2409. Expedition Merchant Association was the largest merchant association in the empire. The meaning of the name was obvious. After all, without a certain background, no one would dare to use this name. All the major forces in the imperial capital knew that Expedition Merchant Association had the backing of a prince and a powerful prince. The significance was not that simple. No one dared to look down on them. When the news of the 3 treasures being auctioned came out, the entire imperial capital was shocked. No one had expected that guy to auction the 3 treasures. Was he in desperate need of money? The eyes of the forces that had been waiting in silence lit up. This was a good opportunity. They had planned to open a gap with Lin Fei, but Lin Fei did not say anything. He was very vague, which made everyone very unhappy, but they could not do anything. Once the news came out, everyone was relieved. They immediately sent people to investigate and confirm the authenticity of the news. We must buy the ancient star beast skeleton in a certain secret room. As long as we have this star beast skeleton, we can forge a powerful weapon. Our clan strength will increase again, a big shot ordered. Similar words kept appearing in the major forces. Everyone was determined to buy the treasures. No matter how much they had to pay, it was worth it compared to the gains. Saintus, good news. The Tong Tian ancestors' demon heart that we want will be auctioned in Expedition Merchant Association 3 days later. Saintess Qinlan, who was in the mansion, was finally moved when she heard the news. Good, that's great. Ancestor Tong Tian's demon heart might not be of much use to others. At most, it could be used to refine medicinal pills. But to the experts of the fiend race, it was of great significance. They could directly create a 6th or 7th revolution expert, and their future potential was limitless. Qinlan had to report such a big matter to her superiors immediately to get their support. The next day, a gray-robed man came to the mansion and quietly entered the mansion. "Master, why are you here?" Qinlan was shocked to see the man in gray. This matter is too important. It concerns our monster race. I have to come personally. The man in gray was Qinlan's master, Yaojiu. He was also a top expert of the demon god empire. Tell me what happened. Qinlan told him all the information she had gathered in great detail. Yao Ju listened attentively until Qinlan finished. Lin Fei, apex profession. I've heard of this person before. Fiend 9 said faintly, your master has overestimated that brat. Just based on this move alone, that brat's abilities are ordinary. If that's the case, then Qinlan had become a Saintess candidate because she had guessed her master's intentions. Master, are you planning to obtain some treasures of our demon god empire from the royal treasury through Lin Fei? Demon 9 was very pleased. You're still the smart one, to think of it so quickly. Master indeed has this idea. Lin Fei seems to be a person who can be used. But I'm afraid that Brat doesn't have the courage to take out the treasures of the monster race from the royal treasury. Even if he takes them out, those forces in the imperial capital will definitely guess it. Qinlan was not very optimistic. We can put this matter aside for now. Let's bid for the demon heart first, Yao Jiu said. Oh, right. Do you have any new clues about that mysterious avenger? Not yet. Qinlan shook her head. That guy seems to have appeared out of thin air. He's very mysterious. All the spies in the imperial capital are looking for him, but there are no clues. The Saintess candidate's master is at the peak of the 7th stage profession. His battle prowess is obviously at the early stage of the 8th stage profession. Good strength. While the Saintess candidate Qinlan and her master Yao Jiu were talking, another person was paying attention to them. This person was naturally Lin Fei. In the entire imperial capital, except for some places like the imperial palace, the rest of the places had basically been set up. Qinlan's mansion had become the focus of attention. No matter who she traded with, it would not be as satisfying as trading with the monster race. The treasure of the monster race in the imperial treasury. Lin Fei heard it clearly. When he had chosen the demon heart, he had also wanted to see what the monster race thought about it. He did not expect to hear such good news. It might not be possible to take it out openly, but it can be secretly copied. As long as we have the data, we will be able to make it. Lin Fei smiled proudly. 3 days later, at the Expedition Chamber of Commerce. After 3 days of vigorous publicity, all the 38 star domains knew about it. Those who were tempted all came. In particular, the astral beast skeleton had become the target of many people. The monster race's demon heart had become the target of competition for alchemists. On the other hand, the forbidden medicine was less attractive. After all, although it could increase one's attack by 20 times, the price to pay was too high. After the medicinal effect wore off, the user would drop 1 or 2 major realms. Compared to the other 2 treasures, the forbidden medicine's grade was much lower. If it did not have this side effect, the user would recover for 1 or 2 years at most, and then it would become very popular. Many big shots had come to the auction. Even if they could not come, they had arranged for their trusted subordinates to participate in the auction. Many people were disappointed that Lin Fei did not come. For others, it did not matter whether Lin Fei came or not. Now, let's auction the final treasure. The competition for the 3 treasures was very intense. Any one of them was priceless. The first to be auctioned was the limit-breaking elixir. This forbidden medicine was finally won by a mysterious person. In the end, it was sold for an extremely high price. The energy wall stones were also exchanged for black crystal cards. This was a high-grade energy storage item that was more convenient to carry around. Each black crystal card could store 1 trillion energy wall stones. The enthusiasm for the forbidden medicine was average. When it came to the astral beast skeleton, the enthusiasm increased and the competition became very intense. No one was willing to give up. This was one of the essential materials for forging top-grade weapons. To be precise, it was the main material. It was something that could only be found by chance and it was not easy for ordinary forces to get their hands on it. The astral beast skeleton was sold for an extremely high price. It was worth 12 black crystal cards. Compared to a single black crystal card for the limit-breaking elixir, the difference was too big. The last item, the demon heart, was won by an alchemist. The price was 10 black crystal cards. The auction ended perfectly. Lin Fei had already known the exact number. Such a huge number was much more than the previous auction. He was very satisfied. He could contribute a lot of energy to the auction. Chapter 2410. Expedition Chamber of Commerce. After the auction ended, Lin Fei, dressed in a black robe, came to visit. This time, the president of the Expedition Chamber of Commerce had personally come out to greet him, giving Lin Fei enough face. "Brother Lin, you're earlier than I expected." The president was a middle-aged man with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He was full of energy as he greeted Lin Fan with a smile. Lin Fei said with a smile, "To be personally entertained by the president is a great honor to me." The middle-aged man was not surprised that Lin Fan could recognize him as the president. After a simple greeting, he clapped his hands. "Bring the items up. We can't keep our guests waiting." Lin Fei narrowed his eyes and didn't speak. Not long after, someone came from outside. It was the person in charge from last time. He carried a tray in. "These are black crystal cards. Each card contains a certain amount of energy wall stones." "Thank you." Lin Fei was impressed by the technological civilization of the Expedition Empire for being able to create black crystal cards. With a wave of his hand, he put away the 23 black crystal cards. The middle-aged man secretly observed Lin Fei, and his evaluation of Lin Fei increased by quite a bit. Many people had never seen a black crystal card before, and some didn't even know of its existence. Lin Fei didn't have any emotional fluctuations, as if the 23 black crystal cards were ordinary objects. Only a few youngsters could do this. This trip was worth it. "Brother Lin, you're a rich man now. If there's anything you need, just say the word. The Expedition Chamber of Commerce will get it for you," the middle-aged man said warmly. Lin Fei did not refuse. He said that he would contact the Expedition Chamber of Commerce if he needed anything. The middle-aged man agreed and continued chatting until Lin Fei stood up to leave. "Guild leader, do you think that brat Lin Fei figured it out? Or is he pretending not to know?" The person in charge said in a low voice. The middle-aged man smiled. Whether or not he realized, we've already conveyed our message. 23 black crystal cards, and he's neither happy nor arrogant. He's not simple. After leaving the Expedition Chamber of Commerce, Lin Fei planned to return to Imperial College. "Are you Lin Fei?" As soon as he stepped out of the Expedition Chamber of Commerce, Lin Fei was stopped by 2 men in black. Their movements were clean and nimble, and it was obvious that they were from the military. "That's right, I'm Lin Fei." In fact, Lin Fei had known about these 2 ever since he came out of the Expedition Chamber of Commerce. It wasn't just them. The spies outside were also watching him. They knew everything, but they pretended not to know. "My master wishes to see you. Please come with me." The 2 black-clothed men stood on the left and right, blocking off all the exits. It was as if they wanted to forcefully invite Lin Fei if he agreed. This attitude directly angered Lin Fei. "Not interested." After coldly saying those words, Lin Fei strode away. "Impudent." The black-clothed man on the left snorted coldly, and a cold aura pressed down on Lin Fei. He stretched out his hand, and like an eagle's claw, he grabbed at Lin Fei with lightning speed. "Get lost." Lin Fei's current level of strength did not seem high, but with the help of the level-up system, his strength was immeasurable. Pum! The 2 black figures flew out and fell on the street, spitting out blood. If this happens again, it won't be as simple as a light bump. Lin Fei did not stop, but his voice echoed in the ears of the 2 black-clothed men. On the street, Lin Fei's figure disappeared. The two of them got up pathetically, looked into the distance unwillingly, and finally shook their heads and left the scene. After they left, the special creature in the air quietly followed them. At the same time, on the street next door, in a private room of a luxurious restaurant, an elegant young master, dressed in brocade clothes, put down the cup in his hand, stood up, and opened the window. What a good Lin Fei to be able to use his strength to such an extent. Even the 2 second stage profession guards could not withstand a light bump from him. As expected of a top-notch profession, Old Five is probably going to be furious. Giggles could be heard coming from the private room. A young lady dressed in a palace dress was smiling beautifully. She was very charming. The better Lin Fei performs, the better he is. Isn't he playing into third brother's hands? Fifth brother has always been overbearing. I'm afraid he won't have the chance to recruit Lin Fei. But third brother, your chance has come. The elegant young master turned around. Little sister, how can you talk about your brother like this? The girl continued to smile. So third brother doesn't like it. Could it be that this little sister is going to congratulate fifth brother? You also know that this little sister doesn't have a good impression of fifth brother. It's not as attractive as third brother. You. The elegant young master smiled bitterly. We've seen a good show. If you have something to say, say it quickly. Third brother doesn't believe that you'll be so free to drink tea with me. The girl in the palace dress pouted. Third brother, you really know how to wrongly accuse good people. I don't want to play with you anymore. You only know how to bully your own little sister. She stood up, pushed the door open, and turned to leave, leaving behind a beautiful back view. The elegant young master revealed a rare solemn expression. Ninth sister, do you also want to compete with third brother for that Lin Fei? Your Highness, we've failed. In a heavily guarded mansion, 2 injured men in black clothes knelt in the main hall. At the end of the main hall, on the throne sat a burly man with the back of a tiger and the waist of a bear. His body was filled with a ruthless aura. Trash! The burly man slammed his palm on the throne, and with a loud bang, the 2 men in black clothes who knelt on the ground seemed to have been impacted by the force. Their whole bodies were directly torn apart, and they could not be more dead. Trash should all die. The burly man was the current empire's 5th prince. Someone go and invite the 2 deputy deans of the academy. Tell them that I want to see them. The corpses in the palace were quickly cleaned up. Heavenly talent, so what if you have a top profession? Heavenly talent who can't grow is nothing. If I can't get something, no one else can. The cold, murderous words spread in the quiet palace. Lin Fei returned to the Imperial Academy. The results were also out. The Empire's 5th prince really has some tricks up his sleeve. Under the tracking of special creatures, as soon as he returned to the independent courtyard, Lin Fei found out that the mastermind was actually the Empire's 5th prince. Among the forces fighting for the Empire's throne, he was one of the more promising ones. At a young age, he controlled a powerful iron-blooded army and had a large number of forces supporting him. This 5th prince's way of doing things was very domineering. As long as he took a fancy to something, he would basically use violent means to get it done. No one dared to say anything. There was once a force that offended him and was removed from the list overnight. Although it was not the 5th prince who did it, everyone suspected that it was the 5th prince who arranged for it. I didn't expect to fight with the princes so soon. Lin Fei laughed bitterly. To be honest, he really had no interest in getting involved with those princes. The Expeditionary Empire was a large empire. His Majesty was number 1 in both literature and military strategy. Naturally, the princes he gave birth to were not simple. Choosing any prince would mean offending the other princes. This was not a small problem for Lin Fei. Especially at this time, Lin Fei did not want to be enemies with the princes. He had no interest in fighting for power, but now it seemed that this 5th prince was too narrow-minded. He had gathered the 2 deputy deans, This was to prepare for a sneak attack. Chapter 24:11. The final assessment of Imperial College soon came to an end. The first place was naturally taken by Lin Fei. The next few rankings changed a lot. Basically, they were all locked by the top 10 heavenly legends. The only difference was that their positions fluctuated. After returning from the auction, Lin Fei had been in a small, independent yard. He rarely left Imperial College. Time passed day by day, and the birthday of the Great was getting closer and closer. The capital was in a festive atmosphere, and people began to dress up. Experts from the Star area and even some independent forces began to appear in the capital. Needless to say, they were here to participate in the birthday of the Great. These things had nothing to do with Lin Fei for the time being. Eating and drinking every day, Lin Fei enjoyed the rare, comfortable, and leisurely days. The leisurely days did not last long, and were soon broken by the appearance of a person. Elder Li Xiong came. "You are really leisurely. Now you are a young rich man in the capital. Your wealth is amazing. Even I am not as good as you." As soon as Li Xiong came in, he took the wine on the table and poured a glass for himself. He enjoyed it happily. After a few glasses, he looked at Lin Fei enviously. Recently, Lin Fei rarely cared about the outside world. He kept his mind clear and in a very good mood. "Brotherly, look at what you said. This little bit of wealth of mine is nothing." Lin Fei shook his head. "It is not as good as those people. It is said that a long-distance transmission portal needs hundreds of black crystal cards, not to mention those powerful things." Li Xiong did not know whether to laugh or cry. This topic was too far away. Stop. Don't talk about it. I don't know where it will go. Today, I am here to give you something. "No way. You are here to give me a gift?" Lin Fei joked. Li Xiong laughed. "Oh, you can really say that. Congratulations. From now on, you are a disciple of this college. This is your identity token, a unique thing." A white token was taken out by Li Xiong. At first glance, Lin Fei knew that the white token was not simple. It seemed to contain a special meaning. "This is the proof of your disciple identity." Li Xiong said, "Don't think it's simple. With the token, you can go in and out of the college in the future, because at ordinary times. Also, the identity token can open the tactical matrix of the mountain gate, and various identity information is recorded inside." Li Xiong said in detail, "All right, you only need to drip your blood now." Lin Fei had already let the little demon scan it, and there were no hidden dangers. He was relieved and dripped a drop of blood on it. On the back of the token, 2 ancient characters, Lin Fei, appeared vigorous and powerful. "Now you can come with me to choose a place to cultivate." Li Xiong stood up. "There are cultivation grounds." Lin Fei really didn't care about this. Li Xiong was really exasperated that Li Xiong didn't live up to his expectations. Li Xiong didn't even know the practice place of the college. If it was spread out, it was estimated that those people would be very angry, so he thought it was necessary to explain. "Do you really think Imperial College is as you see it?" Li Xiong explained that's wrong. There is an independent space inside the college, and the inside is our practice place. You certainly don't understand it by just saying it. Now I will take you there. After entering the practice place, Lin Fei really knew the inside story of Imperial College. How is it? It's shocking, isn't it? Lin Fei really didn't expect that there was such a practice place in Imperial College. It was a place full of heaven and earth energy, and the time ratio was different from that of the outside world. 1 month outside was 1 or 2 years in the practice place, which had the effect of slowing down time. In addition, in the practice place, there were blue sky and white clouds, and birds and beasts were flying. The mountains in the distance were shrouded by white clouds, so people couldn't see the situation inside the mountains. Li Xiong was not surprised by Lin Fei's reaction at all. When he came here for the first time, he was also shocked. Why was Imperial College popular? It was not only established by the great emperor, but also the inside story of Imperial College. Do you see those mountains shrouded by white clouds? They all have owners and there are tactical deployments on them. No one can get in. If you force your way in, you will be attacked by the tactical deployments. To enter the mountains, you must have an identity token, Li Xiong said. Today, I bring you here to choose a mountain. As long as it is an ownerless mountain, you can choose it as your practice mountain. Lin Fei liked this place. As long as it was decorated, it would also be a good energy income. This place was much better than the outside world, and it was not just a little bit better. I can choose any mountain. Yes. With Li Xiong's promise, Lin Fei was relieved. When he came to the practice place, he must choose the best one, and immediately let the little devil analyze the distribution of the heaven and earth energy in the practice place. By the way, if you want to get a practice place, you still need to go through a small test. Li Xiong added, these tactical deployments are arranged by the predecessors. Some big practice places have a small test difficulty, and some have a big test difficulty. According to the distribution of the college, the whole practice place has a total of 9 areas, from the first level area to the 9th level area. Some people also call it the first level cultivation area to the 9th level cultivation area. In fact, Li Xiong did not say it, but Lin Fei had a result. The heaven and earth energy of the whole practice place was indeed different to a certain extent. According to the distribution of the image, it was increasing in turn. It seemed that the heaven and earth energy was fixed. This result caused Lin Fei to rejoice once more. Lin Fei asked tentatively, I don't know which first level area do the general new students practice in? Li Xiong did not have any doubt. This kind of question was normal. When he came for the first time, he also asked it. You asked a good question. The quality of the practice place is a very serious problem. Generally speaking, the new disciples who enter the college can usually choose to enter the first level to 3rd level cultivation area. Basically, most of them are first level and the talented ones are 2nd level. Talents like you, little Lin, should be able to enter the 3rd level cultivation area or even the 4th level cultivation area. As for the disciples of the previous sessions, they are now in the 5th level and 6th level cultivation areas. Lin Fei quickly thought about it. Then this cultivation ground can be changed. Li Xiong nodded. People need motivation, and the practice is the same. The capital college has no rigid rules. Generally, as long as you have the strength, you can challenge. Even a newcomer can challenge a veteran disciple. As long as you defeat the opponent, you can get the opponent's practice place. After the opponent is defeated, you're not allowed to challenge and change the practice place within 1 year. Lin Fei listened very carefully and was very satisfied. This mark was set for him. I don't know which practice place Brother Li is now practicing in. Lin Fei asked casually. Chapter 24:12. Lin Fei finally knew something about the situation. The status of the elder was only in the 8th level cultivation area. The newcomers were in the 1st level to 3rd level cultivation areas, and the veteran areas were more advanced. Lin Fei learned that the top 10 heavenly sons in this session were better than any other session, except for him. Among the remaining 9, 6 were in the 3rd level cultivation area, and the other 3 heavenly sons broke into the 4th level cultivation area. In fact, after Li Xiong brought Lin Fei to the cultivation area, many people began to pay attention to Lin Fei. This top heavenly son could cultivate in which cultivation area? If this top heavenly son was not as good as those heavenly sons, it would really be a big joke. Why don't I take you to the 4th level cultivation area to have a try? Li Xiong was very optimistic about Lin Fei. Li Xiong clearly saw the obscure gazes of the surrounding cultivation areas, but he could not say anything as long as Lin Fei worked hard. He just needed to put in a little more effort. Li Xiong could get to the present position thanks to Lin Fei. Li Xiong basically remembered all the sarcasm and ridicule. As long as Lin Fei worked hard, He had plenty of means to deal with those people. Lin Fei shook his head. Brotherly, in our cultivation area, there is a mountain peak that is quite special and meaningful. Li Xiong was slightly stunned and seemed to understand in the next second. He looked at Lin Fei in surprise. You don't want to, Lin Fei said with a smile. You guessed it right. I really have this idea. Elderly is coming with Lin Fei. Lin Fei is ready to choose a mountain peak for cultivation. Everyone, guess which level of mountain peak Lin Fei can finally choose. Needless to say, it must be a third-level cultivation area. No matter what, it is also a third-level cultivation area. Many people were very optimistic about Lin Fei. Of course, there were also some who were very pessimistic. Choosing a place to cultivate was not an easy task. There were also some heavenly sons who failed because they were too ambitious. No, he is going to the fourth-level cultivation area. No, this isn't the level 4 area either. Crazy, crazy. Could it be that Lin Fei is going to the high-level cultivation area? As Li Xiong and Lin Fei continued to move forward and passed one area after another, everyone suddenly realized that this was quite wrong. No batch of new students dared to go to the high-class cultivation area. That place was not accessible to ordinary people. I know where that brat Lin Fei is going. Someone seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but exclaim. A look of disbelief appeared on his face. Someone immediately asked. It would not be a small matter for a future top-notch professional prodigy to choose any mountain peak to cultivate on. That person said proudly, if I'm not wrong, they should be going to the cultivation ground, the most special place and also the most precious place. Lin Fei's target should be the first peak of the cultivation ground. Rumor has it that it was the place where the great emperor cultivated. After him, this peak has been empty. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. It turned out to be that peak. That was the first peak of the cultivation ground. To be called the first peak, it was definitely not as simple as it was said. Many heavenly talents in previous years had challenged the first peak of the emperor, but in the end they returned without success. Even so, there were heavenly talents challenging it every time, trying to get this peak of the emperor. The peak of the emperor. It was the most special place in the whole cultivation ground. At the same time, it was the best peak for cultivation. In those days, it was the great emperor's cultivation ground. Later, after his cultivation was successful, the great emperor rearranged it and did not close it, allowing people to enter and cultivate. But unfortunately, it was still empty until now. This peak of the emperor was shrouded in white fog all year round. This is the peak of the emperor, and only the disciples of the Imperial College can enter it. Unfortunately, no suitable person has been found until now. Li Xiong's eyes also became full of admiration. Good place, I like it very much. Lin Fei didn't want to intervene in the affairs of the Imperial College. After all, the power of an Imperial College was not simple. He didn't have the strength to fight against it now, so he had to keep accumulating energy to reach a terrifying number. In this case, Lin Fei didn't want to be harassed, so it was necessary to be high-profile appropriately. After Lin Fei asked the little devil to analyze, he confirmed that it was a special peak and also a special place for cultivation. After a little inquiry, he knew the existence of the peak of the emperor. In fact, the peak of the emperor was really domineering. It was taller than any other mountain, like a long sword towering into the sky. Are you sure you want to try? Li Xiong was not confident. The difficulty of the peak of the emperor was not ordinary. Many people had failed in it, but once they succeeded, they would definitely be the most outstanding person in history, and the benefits would be unimaginable. If you don't try, how will you know? Lin Fei said with a smile. The peak of the emperor was full of tactical formations and prohibitions, one after another, densely packed. It was not possible for ordinary people to crack them by relying on manpower. Even a top professional might not have the ability to do it. Lin Fei was different. he had a system, and the system was best at deduction, which was nothing more than consuming a lot of energy units. Now Lin Fei was rich, and he could afford any consumption. Then, come on, I really want to see you enter the peak of the emperor. Seeing Lin Fei full of confidence, Li Xiong couldn't help but have a trace of expectation. What if he really succeeded? No one dared to say that Lin Fei couldn't do it. No one dared to say that he would definitely succeed, because he was a very rare top professional. This was also his only advantage. There was a stone road at the foot of the peak of the emperor. As long as you walked from the foot of the mountain to the top of the peak of the emperor, you would complete the challenge. It seemed not difficult, but only when you stepped on the mountain road, you would know the horror. Those with poor strength would be sent out after dozens of steps, and the powerful ones would only take 100 steps. The news that Lin Fei was going to challenge the peak of the emperor, the most special place in this cultivation place, spread quickly in the cultivation place. 1 spread to 10. 10 spread to 100, and in less than a moment everyone knew it. The old dean is here. The first person to come was out of everyone's expectation. It was actually the old dean who rarely showed up. Dean! Li Xiong greeted him and was shocked. Why is the old dean here? Now there is trouble. He knew that the old dean valued Lin Fei very much. Why did you bring that guy here? The old dean's tone was not light as soon as he came. Don't you know the consequences of failure? You are messing around. Chapter 24:13. Someone is going to break into the emperor's peak. No way. A newcomer, Lin Fei, wants to go to the emperor's peak. He is too bold. That's a place where he can go for his first job transition. He's bound to lose. Arrogant. Even the old dean is here, and he seems to be very angry. The news spread quickly. Whether they were cultivating in seclusion or other disciples and elders, they all came. In less than a moment, there was a sea of people outside the emperor's peak. They all came to watch the fun, and most of them were sneering. Boy Lin, you must work hard. Li Xiong didn't dare to look at the old dean's eyes. He felt guilty and regretted bringing Lin Fei here. The emperor's peak was the most special place for cultivation in the capital college. Everyone knew the significance of the emperor's peak. Many people failed and returned. Lin Fei, the newcomer king, was a person with no background. Naturally, no one hoped that he could succeed. Once he succeeded, he would have an invisible connection with the great emperor. Originally, the appearance of Lin Fei had changed some interests within the college. If Lin Fei got the qualification to cultivate in the emperor's peak, it would be more difficult to deal with him. What an amazing tactical restriction! Standing on the stone steps, Lin Fei looked up. The seemingly ordinary mountain road was covered with dense tactical restrictions. If he tried to force his way through, he would only be sent out and eliminated. No matter how many formations and restrictions there are in front of the system, you will have to obediently make way for me. Lin Fei took a deep breath and began to let the little devil start its powerful analysis and calculation ability to crack the tactical restrictions. The system also began to run crazily at this moment. Lin Fei began to take the first step, then the second step, and the third step. It's moving, it's moving. The elders of the capital college all looked at the mountain road. As he took the first step, everyone couldn't help but feel nervous. On the one hand, they hoped that Lin Fei would fail. On the other hand, they had a strange idea to see how far Lin Fei could go. I guarantee that Lin Fei will come out in 50 steps at most. Even I find 50 steps too much. 30 steps is the limit. Lin Fei was very fast. He walked up step by step without stopping at all. The stone steps of the mountain path seemed to have been pushed away by the clouds. So fast! The 20th step! Soon, everyone's expression turned ugly. Lin Fei had already taken 30 steps, but he didn't slow down. Every step was very steady, as if it was a very ordinary mountain road. The elders were not surprised. 30 steps was reasonable. This year's rookie king had blinded many people. It was not difficult for him to reach the 30th step. The monarch peak had a total of 999 steps. The higher one went, the more difficult it was. Every 100 steps was a threshold. It was extremely difficult. Brother Feng Zheng, what do you think? In the void of the cultivation ground, 2 middle-aged men, one in green and the other in white, stood side by side. Their faces were calm as the middle-aged man in green said, "It's very difficult to reach the 100th step." Li Fengzheng shook his head. "That kid is too arrogant. The monarch peak is where His Majesty cultivated in the past. Rumor has it that there are opportunities left there. Countless people want to enter, but no one has ever gotten what they wanted. That kid has the same fate." The middle-aged man in white laughed. "I really don't know how lucky that kid is to be able to become first under those circumstances. It's really infuriating to compare oneself with others." Both of them were deputy deans of the Capital Institute. Although they were from different factions, they would always work together to strengthen their power in the institute. "Brother Mingwen, why do you have to make things difficult for that brat? If he offends the 5th prince, there's no way he can grow in this world." Li Fengzheng laughed. If he agreed to the 5th prince, no one would have any objections. Unfortunately, he had to offend His Royal Highness of all people. He's courting death. What a pity. Fang Mingwen laughed sinisterly. On a steep mountain peak in the cultivation ground, a young lady in palace attire was looking at Lin Fei, who was walking on the mountain. "I don't get it. Where did you get the confidence to go to the monarch peak?" The young lady in palace attire pouted. "Third brother must be furious. His performance was too poor." The young lady in palace attire was 9th sister of the royal family. 9th sister's real name was Fan Luoyu. Emperor Yuanzheng's surname was Fan. Fan Luoyu was very interested in Lin Fei, the newcomer king. None of those who grew up in the royal family were simple. Fan Luoyu was very concerned about a future top-notch expert. No matter who he landed in, he would be of unimaginable use. From Fan Luoyu's perspective, Lin Fei was a future top-notch expert that no outsider could recruit. Apart from the royal family, no one else was qualified. Yes, no one was qualified. Fan Luoyu had originally thought highly of Lin Fei. The incident at the Monarch Peak had more or less caused her to lose some points. Let's take a look first. No matter how bad Lin Fei is, he is still a top-notch professional. Fan Luoyu looked at Lin Fei on the mountain road, deep in thought. 50 steps, 83 steps, 96 steps, 100 steps. When Lin Fei crossed the 100th step smoothly, many people's eyes lit up. A future top-notch expert was indeed a top-notch expert. In terms of deciphering formations and prohibitions, he had reached such a domineering level. 150 steps. He doesn't intend to stop yet. He's too fast. He's over 200 steps. As time went by, Lin Fei maintained a consistent speed. He didn't stop for a long time for each step, which was undoubtedly beyond everyone's imagination. When he reached 200 steps, everyone looked incredulous. Good job. Li Xiong couldn't help but feel happy for Lin Fei. He secretly observed the old dean and inadvertently revealed a smile. He seemed to have put down a stone in his heart. In the past, there were very few champions who could make it to 200 steps. But now, they had all become influential figures in the empire. They were very famous. Lin Fei had made it to 200 steps. When he changed his profession for the first time, his talent and potential were very powerful. After 200 steps, Li Xiong also began to worry. At that time, he could only make it to 230 steps, but he couldn't persist and had to give up regretfully. Even so, Li Xiong was appreciated by the elders in the college. Finally, he got to where he was today, which had something to do with his challenge to the Emperor's Peak. Lin Fei continued to walk. 230 steps, 295 steps, 300 steps. When everyone thought that Lin Fei couldn't go on, Lin Fei walked up the stone steps one by one, and in the blink of an eye he had broken through 300 steps. It's crazy! 450 steps. Have you noticed that Guy's speed is too consistent? Is he good at calculation and analysis? His mental calculation ability is too terrifying. He has broken through 500 steps. Is he going to break through the highest realm? Chapter 24:14. Outside the Emperor's Peak. Everyone was in a state of dumbfounded shock. 900 steps. Exactly 900 steps. What kind of concept was that? After so many years in the Capital Institute, no one had ever reached this position. He stopped. He seems to be trapped. Is he going to die? When Lin Fei stood on the stone steps of 900 steps, he didn't move forward again. He stopped. For the people outside, it was as if a heavy burden had been lifted off their shoulders. For example, the two deputy deans. Thank goodness, thank goodness. Li Fingjing's face had been dark, but now he finally smiled. Finally, he stumped. This kid's mental calculation ability is too strong. It won't be difficult for such a person to crack a cultivation method. Fang Mingwen said as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. The more outstanding Lin Fei was, the worse it would be for them, and the more difficult it would be to deal with him. Both of them had good judgment. They knew that Lin Fei must be in trouble if he stopped at this position. The further he went, the more difficult it would be. If he was not careful, he would fail at the last step. On the stone steps, Lin Fei frowned, which was rare. I can't crack it. The difficulty of the next 100 steps has increased by more than 100 times. There are too many changes, and I can't analyze and crack it at all. The little devil said. Lin Fei, calm down. The real difficulty of the Emperor's Peak should be here. The first 900 steps were very difficult, and it consumed energy constantly. It was not difficult to crack it, but from the 901st step, it became more than 100 times more difficult. With only 100 steps left, Lin Fei couldn't give it up. Little devil, as long as it's a restriction array, there must be a flaw. Analyze and calculate carefully. I believe there must be a clue. Lin Fei was not in a hurry. I'll analyze it right away. The little devil spent 3 days analyzing the situation. The next 100 steps were really difficult. For the people outside the Emperor's Peak, 3 days was just a snap of fingers. Everyone was really relieved. If they didn't take a step in 3 days, they might die prematurely. Old director, is the Emperor's Peak really so difficult? Li Xiong asked the old director. 3 days. Oh well, Amos never left. He had been paying attention to it. The dean chuckled. If it wasn't difficult, it wouldn't be the Emperor's Peak. That brat can reach 900 steps. It all depends on whether he can complete the last 100 steps. This is his opportunity. Li Xiong sensed something different from what he said. Opportunity? Could there be some sort of fortuitous encounter along the way? 7 days. Looks like it's hopeless. This is the last day. It's still at 900 steps. What a pity. Even if he can't, Lin Fei is still the most powerful person in the history of Imperial College, second only to that emperor. A few more days passed. Lin Fei's final time limit had arrived. The Emperor Peak only allowed people to stay for 7 days. Once the time was up, not everyone would be sent out. No one believed that Lin Fei could succeed. There was no time. In 7 days, he couldn't figure out the next step, let alone complete the last 100 steps. The 2 deputy deans left happily and completely relaxed. At first, they were scared. After confirming that there was no hope for Lin Fei, they lost interest and let him run his own course. Master, it's done. On the stone steps, Lin Fei finally heard the good news. Yes, Finally, he heard the good news. This place is really weird. There is actually a footwork in front, and the last 100 steps need the footwork to go up. It's really a fraud. Lin Fei couldn't help but criticize silently. This kind of trick was really fooled. As long as he took one step out, all his efforts would be in vain. It's really unexpected that there is a footwork hidden in the stone steps, and it's a kind of heaven-defying footwork. There are a total of 9 steps. If I master the footwork, I can complete the last 100 steps and really climb the Emperor's Peak. Lin Fei's eyes also lit up. Learn the footwork immediately. Outside the Emperor's Peak, many elders and talents had left. There were only a few people left. Li Xiong and the old dean were one of them. There's almost no time. Li Xiong shook his head and felt very regretful. There were only 100 steps left. The old dean also shook his head slightly and said to himself, "Alas, I failed after all. I missed another opportunity." He turned around and was ready to leave. He seemed to have aged a lot. Li Xiong kept looking at Lin Fei and said with a wry smile, "It's a failure. It's not that I don't have a chance. Maybe I can solve the last 100 steps next time." Just as he was about to turn around and leave, Lin Fei, who had not moved on the stone steps, finally moved. He stepped out and exclaimed, "He moved! He finally moved!" Lin Fei's movement seemed to be too late in the eyes of the remaining people. There were still 99 steps left. Oh my God, look. Lin Fei took 10 steps with 1 step. There are still 90 steps left. That seems to be a footwork. How is it possible that he can use footwork on the stone steps? It's impossible. The old dean stopped, looked at Lin Fei on the stone steps, and finally smiled. Good, good, this boy's performance is too amazing. What a monster. He really comprehended the footwork hidden in the stone steps. This is heaven-defying 9 steps. The old dean showed unprecedented excitement. Heaven-defying 9 steps. No one knew the horror of this footwork better than him. In those days, Emperor Yuanzhang suppressed the heroes and established the supreme empire with heaven-defying 9 steps and his strength. Afterward, Emperor Yuanzhang left heaven-defying 9 steps on the stone steps of Emperor Peak for those who were destined to learn. But no one had learned it, let alone the existence of the footwork on the stone steps. 920 steps, 930 steps. Crazy, crazy! Everyone saw that Lin Fei kept moving forward. Without any hesitation, he seemed to have crossed a distance of 10 steps with just 1 step. The magical footwork left them in a daze. The last 10 steps. There is still the last step. Many geniuses cheered. Lin Fei's figure then disappeared from the stone steps of Emperor Peak. A loud rumbling sound could be heard as the monarch peak finally opened up once again. The mist dissipated, revealing the birds and beasts inside. The strong energy of the heavens and earth spread to the surroundings. The crowd felt extremely comfortable, as if they had just eaten honey. Many of them squinted their eyes and remained motionless for a long time. Such a huge commotion spread throughout the cultivation ground. What dense heaven and earth energy! The 2 vice deans stood up. In the next moment, his expression turned completely ugly. His face was ashen and in a complete mess. How did he succeed? The clouds on Emperor Peak dispersed, and the heaven and earth energy spread out. The 2 vice deans could sense the extraordinary nature of this energy. Bastard! This is bad! The 2 of them suffered a blow and sat down weakly. Chapter 24:15. Breaking news. This year's newcomer king is staying at the Emperor Peak. Let me tell you, the Emperor Peak is amazing. The heaven and earth energy is unbelievably dense. Just taking a breath is equivalent to cultivating for half a month. That Lin Fei is too amazing. He passed the last 100 steps at the last moment. He's too awesome. Lin Fei is too monstrous. Ever since Lin Fei moved into the Emperor Peak, the news had spread throughout the cultivation grounds and the entire capital institute. Many people were dumbfounded by the news. The Emperor Peak. That was the cultivation ground of Emperor Yuanzhang. No matter who Lin Fei was, the fact that he moved into the Emperor Peak meant that he had formed a connection with Emperor Yuanzhang. He was really a disciple of the emperor. That was the real deal. As for the news that Lin Fei had learned the heaven-defying 9 steps, not many people knew for now. They thought that it was extraordinary at most, but they didn't think too much about it. Ever since Lin Fei moved into the Emperor's Peak, the geniuses who were originally at the cultivation ground all came to visit him. Every single one of them who went to the Emperor's Peak would come back and exclaim at how magical the Emperor's Peak was. It was indeed the cultivation ground of the Emperor's expedition back then. For a while, Lin Fei became an influential figure in the cultivation grounds again. In a short period of time, Lin Fei had gained the recognition of many supreme talents. Most of them were from other star regions, and they were naturally happy to see a monstrous supreme talent appear. That way, they could suppress the arrogant capital sect. In the Institute, the supreme talents from the capital star region were basically called the capital sect. The supreme talents of the capital sect had always suppressed the supreme talents of the other 37 star regions in terms of strength and other aspects. Naturally, they were very unhappy with the capital sect. Now that the newcomer king named Lin Fei had appeared, they were happy to see it happen. After all, there was nothing wrong with maintaining a good relationship. As for the capital sect, they naturally looked unhappy after Lin Fei moved into the Emperor Peak. The supreme talents of this year were basically suppressed by him alone. The entire institute only knew that the newcomers were everywhere, and they didn't know about the other supreme talents. After Lin Fei moved into the Emperor Peak, his reputation reached its peak, and he suppressed the supreme talents of this year to the point that they couldn't breathe. Since Lin Fei was staying at Emperor Peak, the college sent a rare gift to Lin Fei, the newcomer king. There were 3 black crystal cards and many cultivation elixirs. 3 black crystal cards was a huge sum. Lin Fei did not refuse any of the gifts and accepted them all with a smile. The Capital Institute was rich and imposing, and 3 black crystal cards were really nothing. A few days after the Institute had sent over the black crystal cards, the royal family had also sent over 10 black crystal cards. The messenger revealed that this was the eldest prince's will, along with a message from the eldest prince. Lin Fei was quite satisfied with the 13 black crystal cards. The large amount of energy consumed on the stone steps of the Emperor's Peak was equivalent to 3 black crystal cards. In comparison, he had gained a lot from this trip. Moreover, he had obtained a powerful hidden footwork, which would give him an advantage when facing enemies. It was an amazing footwork. After moving into the Emperor's Peak, the first thing Lin Fei did was to check the array formations and restrictions on the Emperor's Peak. He found many hidden arrangements, but he didn't know if they were made by Yuanzhang the Great. Lin Fei spent 5 to 6 days checking the Emperor's Peak dozens of times until he was sure that there were no problems. Then he set up new array formations and restrictions on the original foundation. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to do it, but it was different for Lin Fei with the system. It wasn't very difficult, but it still consumed the energy of 3 black crystal cards. As for the consumption of 3 black crystal cards, Lin Fei didn't feel the pinch at all. The new array formations and restrictions were even more terrifying than the previous ones. Now that they were at a higher level, it wouldn't be easy to break them by force. As for invading with divine senses, it was even more impossible. The energy in the cultivation area was extremely pure. Lin Fei planned to plant the source tree on the Emperor's Peak in the most dangerous place. In his opinion, the most dangerous place was also the safest. Once everything was set up, it would be relatively safe. After everything was set up, Lin Fei secretly opened up a secret room to plant the source tree. At first, there weren't many. After a long time, Lin Fei wasn't satisfied, so he increased the number of trees he planted. He could harvest a batch of fruits every day. Lin Fei welcomed rare days of leisure. He started to study the heaven-defying 9 steps. Once he studied it, he found that the heaven-defying 9 steps was very powerful. It couldn't be tracked at all. He asked Little Fiend to analyze it again. It was confirmed that it was a special step skill of a very high level. It surpassed all the current step skills. Ever since he got the heaven-defying 9 steps, Lin Fei guessed that a step skill left by Yuan Zheng the Great would definitely not be ordinary. It had to be something good. With the heaven-defying 9 steps, it's like adding wings to a tiger. This step skill was very useful to Lin Fei. It was more flexible and strange. Coupled with a powerful attack, it would be easier to deal with others. The birthday banquet of the Emperor of the Yuanjing Empire was also in progress. The capital became lively again. This time, it was more lively than the Imperial College's assessment. The governors of the 38-star regions would come. Big shots of the first-class forces would also come. There were still 5 days before the birthday banquet. Lin Fei, who was on Monarch Peak, received an invitation. The person who sent it was someone from the royal family. Lin, you're going to be in the limelight again. Li Xiong sat on the stone bench and said with a smile. There was a trace of envy in his eyes. It's just a banquet. There's no need to be in the limelight. Lin Fei said lightly. Li Xiong said, that's different. His Majesty is usually in closed-door training. Now that you've inherited the Emperor Peak, His Majesty will definitely see you in person. From now on, you're a disciple of the Emperor. If you're lucky, you may even become His Majesty's disciple. That's something that many people envy. Disciple? Whoever wants to be can do it. I'm not interested. Lin Fei smiled secretly. With the system's energy, he couldn't learn anything good from an apprentice. Even if he was offered benefits, he wouldn't go. Master, there's a senior outside. She wants to see you. At this time, a servant came in. Since he moved into the Emperor Peak, the college had arranged a group of servants for Lin Fei to take care of the sundries of the Emperor Peak. Senior? When Lin Fei came to the Imperial College, he really didn't know any senior. Don't look for me. I'm here. A clear and melodious voice came from afar. Lin Fei looked over and saw a young woman dressed in a white palace dress, with 2 female attendants by her side. She was walking over unhurriedly. Li Xiong was curious at first. When he saw the girl in the palace dress, he immediately stood up and greeted her. Ninth Princess, what brings you here? Lin Fei recognized it. It turns out that she's a disciple of the royal family. The 9th princess is so beautiful and noble. She deserves to be a disciple of the royal family. I heard that a heavenly talent came out of the college and lived in the Emperor Peak. This place used to be my father's place of cultivation. Therefore, I came here to have a look. I hope I didn't disturb you. Fan Luoyu said with a smile. Chapter 24:16. The arrival of the 9th princess took Lin Fei by surprise. Wasn't the prince supposed to come first? Since when did she become a princess? Moreover, the 9th princess before him was no ordinary lady. Master, this woman has hidden her abilities and used a rare treasure to seal her abilities. Outsiders won't be able to detect it. The little devil suddenly said. A set of data appeared in Lin Fei's mind. 7th job, transition pinnacle. For a princess to be able to reach such a level of ability was already rather powerful. Most importantly, the princess abilities to outsiders were at the 5th job transition, suppressing her abilities by 2 whole levels. After sealing her abilities and maintaining her 5th job transition, it would be abnormal if the 9th princess did not have any ambitions. Everyone might have been fooled. Lin Fei dared to guarantee that the few princes definitely did not know the 9th princess' true abilities. If coupled with certain treasures, the 9th princess would definitely be able to unleash the abilities of an 8th job transition. This was definitely an unimaginable level of ability. Even the few princes would have to admit defeat. Even the 5th prince, who was known as a cultivation maniac, had yet to reach this level. Lin Fei was not in a hurry to speak. He waited quietly to see what the 9th princess wanted to do. Fan Luyu had always thought that she had seen through Lin Fei, but when she really appeared in front of Lin Fei, she realized that she was wrong. Very wrong. What she saw in him was indifference and calmness, without any fear or respect towards the empire. Such a person was very difficult to deal with. Power might not necessarily be of use. Congratulations, Junior Lin Fei. You've learned a mystical footwork, and your combat abilities have greatly increased. Fan Luoyu smiled. Lin Fei was slightly stunned by her words, but he immediately understood. He thought to himself, she must know the name of the footwork and even its origin. You want to learn footwork? Fan Luoyu was very surprised, and there was an obvious pause in her smile. Others might not be able to sense it, but Lin Fei saw it very clearly, as expected of this batch's rookie king. Junior Lin Fei's words are really interesting. Fan Luoyu continued to smile. Lin Fei didn't want to waste time. 9th princess were both smart people. Why don't we cut to the chase? There's no need to hide. Even I find it troublesome. Fan Luoyu had planned to observe him first. Ever since Lin Fei had passed the test at the Emperor Peak that day and learned a royal footwork, she had been tempted. The only thing she had not expected was that Lin Fei was harder to talk to than she had imagined. He was like a stubborn rock. Lin Fei, you dare to speak to this empress like this? Fan Luoyu's expression suddenly changed, and a wave of pressure pressed down on the other party. Do you believe that one word from me can make you leave the Capital Institute? All of your glory will vanish into thin air. Lin Fei waved his hand, and the pressure immediately dissipated. He said directly, It's not impossible for you to learn the footwork, but what benefits can you give me? Lin Fei didn't mind exchanging a heaven-defying footwork with others, as long as it could be exchanged for benefits. It wasn't that easy to learn the heaven-defying 9 footwork. Even if the other party was a genius, he might only be able to master the first few steps. As for the latter steps, it would take at least a few hundred years. Fan Luoyu narrowed her eyes and quickly retracted her aura. Her trip was not just to test the other party, but also to learn the heaven-defying 9 footwork from him. Others might not know about the heaven-defying 9 footwork, but she knew that it was a magical footwork that her father, the emperor, had mastered. However, this footwork was not in the royal family's secret vault. If you're willing to hand over the heaven-defying 9 footwork, I will help you speak to the princes so that they won't cause you trouble. What do you think? Fan Luoyu said, You've rejected the prince's invitations, as well as some of the top forces in the capital. I can help you restrain all of them. From today onwards, they won't dare to cause you trouble. Lin Fei shook his head and said disappointedly, I'm not interested in that. Regardless of whether it's that big brother of yours or those top forces, if they really dare to make a move against me, they'll be the unlucky ones. In my eyes, they're really nothing. Fan Luoyu had never seen such an arrogant person, and became even more displeased with Lin Fei. No one had ever dared to speak to her like that. It was as if in his eyes the princes and the top forces were nothing to be afraid of. Then what do you want? Fan Luoyu looked at Lin Fei. Lin Fei snapped his fingers. That's simple. A top-notch footwork like the heaven-defying 9 footwork will bring unimaginable benefits to anyone who learns it. I'm not interested in anything else but the energy wall stone. It just so happens that you're a member of the royal family and have a high social status. I believe you wouldn't mind giving me 10 to 20 black crystal cards. Fan Luoyu almost blacked out. 10 to 20 black crystal cards? Do you think the royal family belongs to me? That's impossible. Fan Luoyu rejected immediately. Lin Fei said regretfully, Then it's impossible. The heaven-defying 9 footwork was painstakingly obtained by me. If it's released, everyone in the empire will flock to it. If you're not my senior, I believe there will be people willing to buy it. Of course, if you're not willing, I believe that brother of yours will be interested. It's the heaven-defying 9-footwork. The arrival of the 9th princess, Fan Luoyu, had allowed Lin Fei to see a way to make money. For example, selling the heaven-defying 9-footwork. No one knew that he had now completely mastered the heaven-defying 9-footwork and could fully display it. Moreover, the little devil was also analyzing and calculating, preparing to deduce the 10th step. By the time the royal family learned the heaven-defying 9-footwork, it would take a few hundred years. By then, his heaven-defying 9-footwork would have long been upgraded. Fan Luoyu was so angry that her chest was heaving up and down, which was a feast for Lin Fei's eyes. Fan Luoyu had seen through the heaven-defying 9-footwork, which was why she wanted to get it from Lin Fei. Once she learned the heaven-defying 9-footwork, even if it was just a few steps, her strength would increase greatly. If her brother learned it, she would have no advantage. Junior Lin Fei, do you know about a black crystal card? Fan Luoyu's smile turned pitiful. Her every move could easily affect a person's emotions, which made Lin Fei see the fickleness of the 9th princess. Lin Fei was unmoved. Sigh, who asked you to be my senior? How about this? I'll take a loss and only need 8 black crystal cards. This is the lowest price. Also, if you help me warn those people, I'll give you the heaven-defying 9-footwork. 8 is too much for at most 8. How about 5? 8. In the end, Fan Luoyu was still unable to gain any advantage from Lin Fei. 8 black crystal cards, plus a warning to those people. Fan Luoyu went back to prepare the black crystal cards. Chapter 24:17. Damn it, this guy is really despicable. What a greedy guy. In a magnificent palace, a beautiful figure was sulking. This beautiful figure was naturally Fan Luoyu, who had just returned. As the 9th princess of the royal family, Fan Luoyu had never seen such a greedy person. 8 black crystal cards was not a small number. Even the 9th princess would feel a certain amount of pressure. Little you, your mentality is not good. Maybe that brat is trying to provoke you. Not far away, a man in green looked at Fan Luoyu with an amiable expression. Master, what's wrong with my state of mind? Fan Luoyu rebuked. It's all because of that brat. He clearly knows that I'm a princess of the royal family, yet he still doesn't know what's good for him. I can't wait to chop that brat up. The green-clothed man laughed heartily. Little you, what do you think of that kid? Not easy to deal with. Fan Luoyu calmed herself down. I can't see through this person. The heaven-defying 9 steps is a top-secret footwork of the royal family. He even dares to sell it. I don't know if he is smart or stupid. The azure-clothed man shook his head. If you think so, then you are gravely mistaken. This boy is very cunning. The heaven-defying 9 steps is the imperial clan's top-secret footwork technique. It is not easy to cultivate, but he was able to comprehend it from it. If I am not wrong, that boy must want to trade the heaven-defying 9 steps with your other brothers. Fan Luoyu stared with her eyes wide open. How dare he? Why not? The man in indigo laughed. Don't think that the kid sold the heaven-defying 9 steps to you because he's afraid of your status as a palace lord of the imperial family. That kid has a mysterious background, and I always feel that he's too mysterious. He's now the Capital Institute's newcomer king and has mastered the heaven-defying 9 steps. Even if he's only mastered 1 or 2 steps, his strength is not to be underestimated. Moreover, you can't oppress that kid. If he joins another brother, you'll really cry. Fan Luoyu's eyes sparkled. The more she thought about what her master had said, the more she felt that it made sense. Master, what should I do? Let nature take its course. The azure-clothed man said, Let's take 1 step at a time, but you can't go looking for trouble with him. Wait until you get the heaven-defying 9 steps, then go into closed-door cultivation. As long as you master it before those brothers, you will have the advantage. A few days later, Lin Fei received 8 black crystal cards from Fan Luoyu. The heaven-defying 9 steps had been prepared a long time ago and had been engraved in a jade scroll. Fan Luoyu only left after confirming that there was no mistake. When she left, she did not give Lin Fei a friendly look, as if she owed him a sum of money. I didn't offend the princess. Lin Fei was puzzled. After obtaining the 8 black crystal cards, Lin Fei could be considered to have made a small profit. After the transaction, Lin Fei entered a leisurely life again. He basically stayed in the cultivation area and rarely went out. The days passed by one after another. In the blink of an eye, it was the biggest birthday in the capital. Lin Fei received an invitation from the royal family. Anyone in the entire star field who could receive such an invitation was either a big shot or a top powerhouse. It was unknown how many people would be envious of it. After Lin Fei received it, he casually threw it to the side. If this news spread, many people would probably vomit blood. This was an invitation from the royal family. The day before Great Emperor Yuanjing's birthday, someone specially sent a set of specially made clothes to be used in the birthday banquet the next day. The next day, the entire capital was decorated with colorful flags and a sea of people. It was very lively. The largest square of the capital was already guarded by the royal guards. When the auspicious time came, Great Emperor Yuanjing would appear in the square. It was only natural that the imperial guards would appear in the square. On such a big day, all the big shots of the royal family were gathered, and it was also Great Emperor Yuanjing's birthday. If anything went wrong, no one would be able to bear the wrath of Great Emperor Yuanjing. Everyone was very careful. Brother Fong, long time no see. Yeah, it's been 200 years. Your strength is even stronger than before. You too. On the square, one big shot after another appeared. Almost all the big shots that were rarely seen were here today. All of them were dressed in luxurious clothes and had smiles on their faces, giving people a feeling that they were easy to get close to. When almost all the big shots had arrived, the princes and princesses of the royal family also came to their designated positions. As soon as the princes appeared, tens of thousands of people cheered. Today, in addition to the big shots, the princes and princesses, hundreds of thousands of people from the star area gathered in the square. As everyone cheered, their voices joined together, and then it changed to Great Emperor Yuanzhang, long live his majesty, and so on. The voices spread throughout the capital, which was very sensational. All the 37 region masters are here. Li Xiong stood in the position of the Capital Institute. This time, Li Xiong was very excited to stand in this position. Last time, he could only stand in the crowd below with everyone else. Seeing the princes and princesses and even the region masters, Li Xiong felt very emotional. Lin Fei saw the region master of the region masters of the region masters, who nodded to him, which was equivalent to a greeting. Lin Fei also nodded. Lin, that is the 5th prince. Li Xiong said in a low voice, blinking in one direction. Among all the princes, he is the most grumpy one. He often fights and kills, and his killing intent is very strong. Lin Fei saw the 5th prince for the first time. As Li Xiong said, the 5th prince was very burly, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, and his killing intent was very strong. It seemed that he would kill people if there was any disagreement. The one standing on the left is the 1st prince, who was arranged to supervise the country by His Majesty. Li Xiong said again, "Unfortunately, His Majesty has not appointed a crown prince, so that the following princes are eager to fight for the throne." Li Xiong kept introducing the princes, standing over there. Lin Fei finally had an understanding of the several famous princes of the imperial expedition. None of the princes was easy to deal with. Region Master of the Tsonglong region, your star area is really famous this time. There is a top heavenly sun, and this guy not only amazes the world with a brilliant feat, but also lives in the place where His Majesty used to practice. He has a bright future in the position of the Region Master. The Region Master of the Tsonglong region was proud of his success. The Tsonglong star area which originally belonged to the bottom, finally held its head high. It suppressed the other star areas. From the beginning, I knew that the boy would amaze the world with a brilliant feat. Fortunately, he did not let me down. The region master of the Songlong star area talked with assurance and composure, dealing with the surrounding region masters. The only thing that made the region master of the Songlong region a little uncomfortable was that Lin Fei offended the princes. As a result, he was more or less embarrassed. He decided to have a good talk with Lin Fei after this. How could he refuse the prince's kindness? It was totally outrageous. Master, Emperor Yuanzhang is coming. Suddenly, Lin Fei heard the voice of the little devil. Boom! Chapter 24:18. This aura appeared out of nowhere in the imperial capital square. Under this aura, everyone felt suffocated. It was as if this person could kill everyone in the square with a single thought. The feeling of suffocation disappeared as quickly as it came, as if it was only for a split second. On the square of the imperial capital, a resplendent light rose. At some point, a person had appeared in the high position. As the black-clothed man waved his hand, the resplendent starlight fell on everyone in the square. Boom! The aura of an old man exploded out of nowhere. His old face began to turn younger, returning to the look of a man in his 40s or 50s. Ah, I actually broke through the barrier. The old man cried tears of joy. I broke through the barrier too. This is great. Your Majesty is so kind. My injuries are all healed. Long live your Majesty. Long live your Majesty. The starlight continued to fall upon everyone as more and more people broke through or recovered from their injuries in the imperial capital square. The atmosphere was pushed to its peak. The words "Long live your Majesty" spread throughout the imperial capital square. Soon, the imperial capital square was filled with the chants of "Long live your Majesty. Long live your Majesty. Long live your Majesty." Everyone looked at the man in the highest position, their eyes filled with admiration and excitement. At this moment, the middle-aged man became the center of attention, because he was the Yuanzheng Emperor, the founder of the Yuanzheng Empire. Just by standing there casually, Great Emperor Yuanzhang was like a gigantic mountain with no end in sight. Just like that, he stood tall and proud. At this moment, Great Emperor Yuanzhang smiled and looked at everyone on the public square. The entire process lasted for a long time. This Emperor Yuanzhang really knows how to win people's hearts. He moved everyone's hearts the moment he made a move. It seems like he has done this many times before. Lin Fei thought to himself. Emperor Yuanzhang did not give Lin Fei much of a feeling. However, Lin Fei did not underestimate him. Just now, the little devil had analyzed Emperor Yuanzhang's combat power. Emperor Yuanzhang's combat power had exceeded the limit of 9, beyond 1 trillion. In other words, he was a 9th transformation job. He had stepped into a mysterious realm. His battle prowess surpassed everyone else. Even Lin Fei himself was shocked by this level of combat power. No wonder he gave off a suffocating feeling. His opponent's strength was truly tyrannical. Although there were many domain lords and big shots here today, and some of them had a combat power of 90 million, the gap between them and Yuanzhang Great Emperor was very obvious. Great Emperor Yuanzhang alone could suppress all the powers in the empire. Great Emperor Yuanzhang's smile was like a warm spring breeze. After the dazzling starlight faded away, everyone remained excited. Great Emperor Yuanzhang waved his hand to the crowd, and everyone quieted down. The entire place fell into a deathly silence. "Greetings, my people." Emperor Yuanzhang's words were very charming, and everyone's emotions exploded once again. Every birthday celebration. The great Emperor Yuanzhang never held a large-scale celebration. In his words, everyone had a birthday celebration and there was no need to be extravagant. If it wasn't for the request of his subjects, he wouldn't have held a birthday celebration. Therefore, every birthday celebration would be held in the imperial city square, and the people of the empire would celebrate the birthday together. Today, Great Emperor Yuanzhang didn't talk much, but it still couldn't stop everyone's enthusiasm for him. After that, Great Emperor Yuanzhang announced one thing that he would do every time, which was to have sex with some people, and such an opportunity only came once in 100 years. This year, there were a total of 128 people who had sex with people, and they were all influential people in the past. After that, there was inevitably another round of cheers. "Shaolin, it's your turn soon," Li Xiong said in a low voice. Lin Fei wasn't nervous at all. For others, Great Emperor Yuanzhang was the strongest person in the empire, and he would reach the same level sooner or later. After having sex with a group of people, Great Emperor Yuanzhang would reward those who had made contributions in the past 100 years. First was a list of aristocrats. The status of nobility was very valuable in the empire. Anyone who became a noble was equivalent to stepping into the upper class of the empire. They had certain privileges, but it was not easy to become a noble. One had to make a huge contribution to the empire to obtain the status of a noble. This was also the highlight of every birthday celebration, and people always talked about it. This year, the aristocrats were all young and powerful heavenly talents. Most of them were from the Imperial College, and they had made great contributions to the empire. Cheers kept coming when each name was announced. Lin Fei didn't pay attention to the list of aristocrats at first, but when the last name of Great Emperor Yuanzhang was announced, everyone's eyes turned to him. "I've become an aristocrat." Lin Fei was very surprised. Looking at the eyes of those heavenly talents, Lin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was really a big surprise that he had become an aristocrat without any notice. In the list of aristocrats, Lin Fei was the only newcomer. The fact that he could become an aristocrat made many people dumbfounded. He had reached the sky in one step. From now on, the aristocrats would have unimaginable benefits in the capital. At the very least, commoners would not be able to lay a hand on aristocrats. Even powerful forces would not be able to kill an aristocrat in public. The fact that Lin Fei had obtained the status of a noble clan made many people envious. This was especially so for the geniuses of this generation. Their gazes were so murderous that they could kill someone. Although the status of a noble clan did not mean much to them because they came from a large clan or sect, it still meant that they were weaker than Lin Fei. After the announcement of the list, someone would come to handle the aristocrat's identity. In less than 3 days, he would become an aristocrat, and he would be one of the top people in the capital. After the announcement of the aristocrat list, Great Emperor Yuanzhang took care of some matters, such as the 37 region lords. Some of them were praised by the Great Emperor, including the region lord of Tsonglong region. Everyone knew that the region lord of Tsonglong region was praised by the Great Emperor because a heavenly talent with unlimited potential had appeared in his region. The region lord of Tsonglong region was very proud, and he looked at Lin Fei with satisfaction. No matter how far Lin Fei went in the future, no one would forget that Lin Fei came from the Tsonglong galaxy. After Great Emperor Yuanzhang praised Lin Fei, he rewarded the region lord at the same time, which made the region lord's face light up again. Chapter 2419. Students from Imperial College had always been regarded as the Emperor's students and had a bright future. Emperor Yuanzhang attached great importance to Imperial College. Every century, the heavenly talents of Imperial College would be personally met by Emperor Yuanzhang, which was a glory that only happened once a century. This year's heavenly talents were different from the past, because this time there was a dark horse who blinded everyone and suppressed all the heavenly talents. Even Beigong Yuming, who was favored by many, lost the first place in the end. As the list came out, the first one to go up was the one who ranked 10th. He was very nervous because he was facing the strongest in the empire. Everyone would be nervous. Emperor Yuanzhang was very kind to each heavenly talent. Then he gave them some words of encouragement and treasures from the emperor. All the heavenly talents who came down were very excited. Beigong Yuming, Long Batian, and other heavenly talents went up one after another. Although they all came from powerful backgrounds, compared with Lin Fei, there was a clear gap in their reactions. Lin Fei, a foreigner, not only won the first place, but also became a new noble. He even lived in the mountain where the emperor used to cultivate. His future was unimaginable. Now, let's welcome this year's newcomer, Fei Fei. Cheers immediately came from below. Newcomer King! Newcomer King! Many people had heard of Lin Fei, who had suppressed all the heavenly talents of this year. However, there were very few people who had actually seen it. The people outside had basically never seen it before. Today, everyone could finally see the newcomer king. What made people most excited was that this newcomer king seemed to be from a poor family and had the same characteristics as most people, which made him more popular. Li Xiong patted Lin Fei on the shoulder. Go up quickly. Everyone is waiting for you. Lin Fei was not nervous at all. He strode up to the stage. During this period, Beigong Yuming, Long Batian, and the others all looked over with a trace of unwillingness. All the benefits are taken by this guy. What the hell? Long Batian cursed in a voice that he could hear. Beigong Yuming's face was not much better. That is Lin Fei. He has such a temperament. The poor disciple is mighty. Amazing he's able to suppress the elites of the imperial capital. He truly lives up to his name as the Rookie King. Lin Fei quickly came up. Emperor Yuanzhang smiled warmly, but Lin Fei could still feel that there was nothing dangerous about him. He had to be careful when dealing with the strongest expert of the empire. Lin Fei had already let the little devil seal all the excess power. There were no traces left behind, only the aura of a first transition job. The amount of energy one could hold in their body was 30 to 40% more than others. Just by revealing this, Lin Fei felt that it should be enough. As expected, when Lin Fei came up, Great Emperor Yuanzhang only looked at Lin Fei with a smile. However, it was as if all his secrets had been seen through. His gaze was very sharp. Lin Fei dared to guarantee that the entire empire, only the Great Emperor could have such a sharp gaze. Fortunately, the Yuanzhang Great Emperor only took a glance and did not continue looking. If he was not careful, there might be a problem. I heard that you've moved into the Emperor Peak. You're not bad. The Yuanzhang Great Emperor spoke, first with a smile on his face. This made many people jealous. At this moment, the Yuanzhang Great Emperor seemed very approachable. If one ignored his identity, he should be a very easy person to talk to. I have to thank Your Majesty for the test. Without the test, it would have been very difficult for me to discover the secret that Your Majesty left behind. Lin Fei said unhurriedly. Nervousness. What a joke. The Yuanzhang Great Emperor was very satisfied with Lin Fei's performance. Well said. Since you've moved into the Emperor Peak and received my legacy, from now on, you're my junior. Don't let me down. With that, he patted Lin Fei's shoulder. Junior? Lin Fei was stunned. What was going on? How did he suddenly become the Yuanzhang Great Emperor's junior? Could it be that the Yuanzhang Great Emperor had seen through something? For a moment, he doubted himself. But after thinking about it, he realized that the power of the leveling system was not something that the Yuanzhang Great Emperor could see through. The people in the imperial capital square, including the upper echelons of the empire, were all dumbfounded. Long Batian, Beigong Yuming, and the other prodigies were also dumbfounded. Two words echoed in their minds. How is this possible? Lin Fei actually became the Yuanzhang Great Emperor's junior. Doesn't that mean that he's going to soar to the heavens in the future? That kid has reached the heavens in a single step. While everyone was still in shock, they immediately realized that Lin Fei was going to reach the heavens in a single step. Because of his relationship with Lin Fei, no one would dare to cause trouble for Lin Fei from now on. As long as they were on the expedition to the empire, Lin Fei would not have to worry about any rebellion or anything like that. Although they were all disciples of the emperor, the Yuanzhang great emperor had never acknowledged anyone as his junior. Lin Fei was the only one, and his status immediately became more respectable. What happened next was simple. However, there was a deviation in the reward of land. The reward was not the land of the expedition starfield, but a starfield outside. Everyone was very surprised and shocked by the reward of the land. Especially after they heard the location, they could not help but frown. No one knew why the great emperor rewarded this land to Lin Fei. Everyone was full of doubts. Lin Fei looked puzzled, but he laughed in his heart. Great, the land is actually in another starfield. Finally, I can avoid some troubles. To be honest, Lin Fei did not like the imperial capital, nor did he like the expedition starfield. Under the emperor's rule, he was not free to do anything. Even if he was careful, he would have problems sooner or later if he did too much. Lin Fei had been thinking about this problem. How could he change the land? No matter how he thought about it, there was no way. The Yuanzhang great emperor would not change his mind just because of his words. Walking down from the stage and returning to Lixiong, Lin Fei was still a little puzzled. What was the reason that the great emperor asked him to reward a piece of land in another starfield? Don't think so much. As long as it is not in the expedition starfield, I can fly freely in the sky. Lin Fei threw all the messy thoughts out of his head. After a series of events, a variety of pleasing programs appeared on the square one after another, which was a feast for everyone's eyes. It also became the favorite program of all the birthday parties. For the high-level officials of the empire, the words of the Yuanzhang great emperor today were worth thinking deeply, especially when it came to the matter of Lin Fei, which completely caught everyone off guard. This was obviously different from the previous ones. In particular, the location of the land was not very good, because it was outside the starfield. It was the starfield of the demon god empire, and there was only a vast mountain in the middle, which was very chaotic. Such a piece of land was not a good place. Chapter 2420. The birthday of Emperor Yuanzheng finally came to an end after the last program. No one forgot the scene today. A man named Lin Fei became the lucky man in everyone's eyes. He not only had the aristocratic identity, but also became the junior fellow apprentice of the emperor. He really reached the sky in a single bound. The only thing that everyone didn't understand was why the fief was in another star region, which was a little regrettable in everyone's view. However, compared with Lin Fei's gains, this problem was soon ignored by everyone. Lin Fei became the biggest topic in the capital, the emperor's peak. Lin Fei was still very surprised and hadn't completely digested the news. You must be overjoyed. I didn't expect you to become the junior fellow apprentice of His Majesty. This identity. Li Xiong was drunk and couldn't hide the smile on his face. Although Li Xiong didn't get the glory himself, in his view, there was nothing more delightful than this. No matter what happened in the future, Lin Fei had a bright future. Maybe he could be conferred the title of king and become a top figure in the empire. Li Xiong felt excited when he thought about it, and the consequence of his excitement was that he drank a few cups of good wine. In fact, I didn't expect to become the junior fellow apprentice of His Majesty. I'm really surprised. Lin Fei smiled bitterly, picked up the bottle and poured a cup for Li Xiong, and then for himself. Li Xiong said with a smile, "Don't think so much. Anyway, from now on, you are the junior fellow apprentice of His Majesty." Lin Fei nodded, "I know." Li Xiong said again, "But you should know your fief well. That star region is ranked at the top in the empire, but it is the most chaotic place and also a battlefield between the empire and the demon god empire. Every year, there will be wars of different sizes. Among them, your fief happens to be near the chaotic war. If you want to go to the fief, you'd better be mentally prepared in advance." For this problem, Li Xiong himself couldn't figure out why His Majesty chose such a place in the fief. In the next period of time, I will practice on the Emperor's Peak, and I will not go to the fief for the time being. Lin Fei thought for a while and said. Li Xiong agreed. Well, that's good. Recently, there are many small-scale wars. It's not good for you to go there at this time. After sitting for a while, Li Xiong left. Lin Fei gulped down the wine in his glass. Little devil, have you figured anything out? That great Emperor Yuanzhang has a battle strength of over 100 million. I don't believe that he would bestow such a fief to me on a whim. When one reached the position of great Emperor Yuanzhang, everything had a certain meaning to it. If one treated it as an ordinary matter, the one who would regret it would be him sooner or later. Little Devil said, Master, you should become a chess piece for great Emperor Yuanzhang. Who asked you to be in the limelight recently, suppressing all the geniuses of this generation? Moreover, Master is going to become a top-class expert in the future. So it would be strange if that great emperor didn't have any thoughts about you. According to my analysis, that great emperor will admire Master for a long period of time. Lin Fei listened to the little devil's words thoughtfully. He felt that this analysis was quite reasonable, and the possibility was very high. He would be a very important chess piece in the future. Who cares? That great emperor appreciates me. For a long period of time, I don't need to worry about anything. If I perform well, I can do whatever I want in the capital. Soon, Lin Fei smiled. You treat me as a chess piece. At that time, it's hard to say who will be whose chess piece. This night, Lin Fei slept very peacefully. In the imperial palace of the capital, on the sky-reaching platform, a man stood with his hands clasped behind his back, overlooking the entire capital. Your Majesty, isn't it a bit too hasty to do this? An old man next to him said with a hint of worry. If Lin Fei were here, he would be surprised that the old man was the old dean of the Capital Institute. The man, standing with his hands clasped behind his back, was naturally the current great Emperor Yuanzhang. Time waits for no one. Great Emperor Yuanzhang said calmly, That kid is quite talented. When he grows up, he will be a pillar of the empire in the future. He alone can defeat thousands of soldiers and horses. Arrange for Shaolin to go to the Black Iron Star Zone. That place is the closest to the Demon God Empire and also the most complicated place in the empire. Aren't you afraid that the kid will get into big trouble in the Black Iron Star Zone? The old dean said. Teacher, I know you appreciate that kid, but the kid was born into a poor family and was destined to be rejected by the big forces. Therefore, I gave that kid an identity and a chance to grow up. Great Emperor Yuanzhang's voice was like a loud bell. Whether he can grow up or not depends on his own ability. The old dean sighed. Your Majesty, when do you plan to let Shaolin go to the Black Iron Star Zone? In 3 years. That should be enough. In the capital, many people were talking about the rising Lin Fei, the 5th prince's residence. What's going on with father? How is that kid qualified to be father's junior brother? The 5th prince squinted his eyes with cold, killing intent. The advisors didn't even dare to breathe loudly. The 5th prince was the most hot-tempered and hot-tempered among all the princes. When the 5th prince bore a grudge against someone, that person would be in big trouble. Now Lin Fei was in big trouble. The 5th prince was uncomfortable when Lin Fei rejected the invitation. Now he had become father's junior brother and lived in the Emperor's Peak. According to the information he received, Lin Fei had learned a powerful movement technique of father's, the heaven-defying 9 steps, in the assessment of the Emperor's Peak. This caused the 5th prince's hatred for Lin Fei to increase by a few notches. I don't like that Lin Fei. Do you have any way to deal with that kid? The 5th prince glanced at the advisors coldly. Everyone's breathing quickened. The advisors started thinking, trying to come up with a good idea for His Highness in the shortest time possible. Elsewhere, in a mansion on the outskirts of the imperial capital, the saint-in-waiting, Qinlan, was flipping through Lin Fei's personal information. The Emperor's junior brother. What's your identity? Qinlan stared at the information. A guy from a poor family had become the emperor's junior brother and was living in the emperor's peak. It was hard for Qianlan not to know about him. No matter what my identity is, I have to get in touch with that kid immediately. Whether I succeed or not, I can't miss this opportunity. Qianlan put down the information. The next morning, Lin Fei woke up very early. The Emperor's Peak's rich energy of heaven and earth was constantly being absorbed by the system. A big whirlpool was constantly forming around him. This was under Lin Fei's control. Once it was fully activated, the amount of heaven and earth energy absorbed wouldn't be just a little bit. The restrictions on the Emperor's Peak had been upgraded, and Lin Fei could absorb it without any worries. As for the servants, no one dared to enter without orders. Awesome! Lin Fei took a deep breath, and a satisfied expression appeared on his face. In the morning, someone from the imperial palace came to deal with the noble's status. It could be said that from today onward, Lin Fei was a noble in the empire. Other than that, the matter of the fief was settled. Chapter 24-21. Lin Fei decided to rest for a few days before going to the royal treasury. At this time, an uninvited guest came to his door, causing Lin Fei to feel surprised. "It's her." After the servant reported, Lin Fei looked at the array outside the mountain gate and saw a familiar stranger. It was the saintess candidate from the demon god empire, Qianlan. Qianlan was dressed in palace attire and did not exude any demonic aura. Her methods were indeed extraordinary. Outsiders might not be able to tell, but Lin Fei could through the system. The demon god empire is really resourceful. They actually arranged for a saintess candidate to enter the Capital Institute and completely seal the demonic aura in her body. Even an 8th professional would not be able to see through her. Retracting his gaze, Lin Fei asked the servant to invite her in. Qianlan was dressed in a black palace attire and exuded a demonic aura. She gave off a different vibe and made one's eyes light up. Lin Fei knew that this was because Qianlan was a demon. Even if her demonic aura was completely sealed, there would still be traces left on her body. "I wonder what brought you here. Please take a seat." Lin Fei greeted with a smile. Immediately, a servant brought tea over. Anyone who could appear in the cultivation grounds must be a student of the Capital Institute. Qianlan must be his senior. Lin Fei was very clear about this. If there were no surprises, she must be here for the demon treasures in the royal treasury. Junior is now an influential figure in the institute and even in the capital. In front of you, this senior sister of mine is nothing. Qianlan said with a smile, "Let me introduce myself. I am Qianlan, and I have been in the Capital Institute for 3 years. Master, this demoness has used a bewitching technique on you," the little fiend reminded. For a moment, Lin Fei felt like he was about to fall into some kind of consciousness. Fortunately, the little fiend activated her energy and broke the formless bewitching technique. This made Lin Fei very unhappy. A demoness was indeed a demoness. She had set a trap the moment she appeared. If it was someone else, they would definitely fall for it and would not even know about it. Lin Fei's impression of Qianlan, the saintess candidate, became worse. She had used the bewitching art on him the moment she arrived. As expected of the saintess candidate, she really had some tricks up her sleeve. "Senior sister, should I call you Saintess in Training Qianlan or Senior Sister Qianlan?" Lin Fei went straight to the point and looked at Qianlan with a smile. Qianlan had indeed used the secret arts of the fiend race to invisibly induce the other party without anyone noticing. After this, the other party would also suspect something. When the other party said the word Saintess in waiting, Qianlan's pupils contracted fiercely before returning to normal at an extremely fast speed. "Junior brother Lin Fei, I don't understand what you're talking about." Qianlan blinked, looking innocent and cute, making it hard for others to suspect her true identity. Unbeknownst to them, Qianlan's heart was in turmoil. As the saintess candidate of the demon god empire, No one had ever doubted her identity since she entered the Capital Institute. Who would have thought that the seemingly harmless kid in front of him would actually reveal his identity? Senior sister, are you really going to continue pretending? Lin Fei smiled. Then you can leave. I know very well why you're here today. You're here for the treasures in the royal treasury. Of course, you can deny it. This time, Qin Lan was really moved. She immediately suspected that her identity had been exposed. Otherwise, how could this kid know? Wasn't he from a poor family? How did you know? Qin Lan's voice was cold and carried a hint of killing intent. Lin Fei smiled. Senior Saintess, you'd better retract your killing intent. If you continue to use it on me, I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself and inform the Institute's disciplinary team. You should know the consequences. How dare you? Qin Lan stood up and glared at Lin Fei. You can try. Lin Fei was unmoved. Qin Lan's expression was complicated. She sat down again and clapped her hands. Junior, you're really amazing. Everyone in the Institute has underestimated you. You actually figured out my identity without saying a word. Also, you're very bold. Aren't you worried that I'll silence you? Since I dared to say it, I'm not afraid of you silencing me. Lin Fei said calmly. You can't do it alone. It's also impossible with the help of your master in the residence. After revealing the other party's identity, Lin Fei did not mind adding a layer of mystery to himself. Qin Lan was shocked once again. Her master's secret visit was definitely a secret. Outsiders would not know at all. Moreover, this fellow knew everything clearly. Qin Lan even suspected that there were spies in the mansion. Otherwise, how could he know so clearly? Junior Lin Fei, you think too highly of me. You're the future top expert of the Empire. Even if you gave me 100 guts, I wouldn't dare to lay a hand on you. Qin Lan joked. Lin Fei did not believe Qin Lan's words. She had used a bewitching technique on him right from the start. She was definitely not a kind person. If he really believed her, it would definitely be too late for regrets. Forget it. Just tell me why you're here. Lin Fei said. I still have to cultivate later. Qin Lan was furious. She was a demon beauty and a saintess candidate. In the future, she had the chance to become a saintess. She did not expect to be ignored by this guy. Thinking of the purpose of her visit today, Qin Lan kept reminding herself to calm down and not to lose her temper. This was the Capital Institute, not the Demon God Empire. I want to make a deal with you. I hope you can bring out a demon treasure from the royal family's treasury, Qin Lan said. Since he already knew her purpose, there was no need to hide it. Lin Fei did not reply. He chuckled and said, Do you really believe that I can bring out such an item from the royal family's treasury? Moreover, to be able to keep it in the royal family's treasury, it's definitely a demon treasure. Do you think I have the guts? Qin Lan was furious. You're fooling me. Lin Fei shook his head. No. You're the saintess candidate of the demon race. I'm just a kid in the first job transition. How would I dare to fool you? I don't want to be hated by someone every day. Who knows? He might assassinate me at any time. I heard that the Demon God Empire is best at assassinations. It seems that there are a few assassin professions that originated from the Demon God Empire. Qin Lan suddenly felt that she could not understand this Lin Fei. If it was somewhere else, she would not mind tearing him into pieces to vent her anger. What on earth do you mean? Seeing the angry look on the demon beauty's face, Lin Fei smiled happily. He did not care about Qin Lan's overwhelming killing intent. Tell me, if I help you get something out of it, what benefits can you give me? With that, he deliberately glanced at Qin Lan. This bastard. Qin Lan gritted her teeth, but there was nothing she could do. For the first time, she felt helpless. Whatever you want, I can make the decision to agree to it. Chapter 24-22. Qin Lan had seen all kinds of people, but she had never met someone like Lin Fei before. The overwhelming murderous intent pressed down on the other party like an invisible long sword, killing without leaving a trace. You can continue to try. You only have one chance. Lin Fei said with a smile. He did not resist, as if he was going to let the other party's murderous intent land on him. Qin Lan thought for a moment before withdrawing her murderous intent. You win. Qin Lan glared. As long as you can get the demon treasures, I'll be yours entirely. Lin Fei laughed heartily. So the saintess' angry expression is quite pretty. Forget about the person, I was just joking. We can postpone the transaction. You just need to go back and prepare. I'm not interested in anything else except the energy wall stones. Also, you'd better give me a list. As for what I can bring out, that will depend on my luck. Qin Lan suppressed her anger. All right. After leaving behind a list of demon treasures, Qin Lan turned to leave, leaving Lin Fei with a beautiful view of her back. No wonder she's so interested. The royal treasury really has a lot of good stuff. Casually flipping through the list, there were a few items that made Lin Fei's eyes light up. I'll be able to make a fortune from the demons this time. After resting for a few days, Lin Fei finally went to the royal treasury. Everything was ready. It was said that the second and third place this year had obtained good stuff from the royal treasury. Their strength had increased tremendously, and they seemed to be able to overpower the newcomer kings this year. Lin Fei sneered. He didn't care at all. Junior Lin, come with me. The Capital Institute had a person in charge of the royal treasury. As soon as Lin Fei mentioned that he wanted to go to the royal treasury, the person in charge immediately came out to lead the way. He was also very friendly. Along the way, the person in charge briefly explained the situation of the royal treasury, such as what was placed in each area. He explained everything clearly. After entering the palace, Lin Fei had a vague idea of what was going on. The palace was very large, and the buildings were magnificent. Everywhere was exuding a noble aura. The flowing energy of heaven and earth was more than 20 times that of the capital city. Cultivating in such a place. In fact, it was even better than a cultivation place. Master, this palace is amazing. It's a top treasure. Once activated, it can burst out a terrifying power. Also, there's a powerful aura hidden deep under the palace that is no weaker than a great emperor. The little devil's voice quietly rang out in Lin Fei's heart. Lin Fei's face was very calm. He was praising the palace, but his heart was not calm. No wonder people say that the heaven and earth energy in the imperial palace is unbelievably dense. Even the cultivation grounds are inferior to it. It turns out that it's a treasure. In that case, everything makes sense. There's a mysterious expert hiding underneath. The imperial palace is indeed a dangerous place. No wonder the people of the demon god empire dare not come here. As Lin Fei walked, he let the little demon continue to scan the palace. He didn't dare to make too much noise. The expedition great emperor with a battle power of 1 trillion was not someone easy to deal with. It would be bad if he was discovered. After walking around the palace, Lin Fei arrived in front of a door. Junior Lin Fei, this is the imperial treasury. Due to my duty, I can't send you in. The person in charge brought Lin Fei to the imperial treasury and left. Lin Fei pushed the door open and stepped in. As soon as he entered, Lin Fei noticed that his surroundings had changed. It was as if he had come to a different space. Bookshelves appeared in front of him, and everywhere was filled with an antique charm. Kid, you are that Lin Fei? Before Lin Fei could recover, a figure quietly appeared in front of him and grabbed the token in his hand. After a casual glance, the figure threw it on a table not far away. This is the imperial treasury. There are a total of 5 floors. You will have 1 day to choose any 3 treasures. As for the cultivation technique, it can't be taken out, but I can make a copy for you. In front of Lin Fei was a short and small old man. His hair was messy, and he looked like a messy old man. He said impatiently to Lin Fei, "Thank you for your reminder. I got it." Lin Fei cupped his fists. The other party didn't look like much, and he didn't dare to underestimate him. To be able to guard the Imperial Treasury, he had to be at least an 8th transformation professional expert. Lin Fei originally wanted to scan it, but in the end he gave up as he was afraid that the other party would notice something. After all, once one's strength reached a certain level, even the slightest change would be noticed. "I heard that you obtained the heaven-defying 9 steps," the disheveled old man said casually. Lin Fei nodded. "It was a fluke. You're not bad." The disheveled old man glanced at Lin Fei. "All right, you can leave now. The Imperial Treasury is huge, and the treasures are as numerous as the clouds. Choose carefully." Lin Fei turned around to check out the treasures. The disheveled old man disappeared and appeared in the depths of the void. He narrowed his eyes. "This lad is a little strange. Why does he give off the feeling of a ferocious beast despite being at the pinnacle of his first transition? This doesn't make sense. Could he have drunk too much again? No, I've got to drink some immortal brew to calm myself down." A gourd appeared in his hands, and the disheveled old man gulped it down. 8 treasures fan, a 6-star treasure. It can activate the 8 Desolation Divine Fire and unleash a might equivalent to a 6th Transformation Professional. Massacre Spear, a 5-star treasure. It can absorb the malevolent chi of heaven and earth. Meteor Fire Shower, 7-star secret skill. There were countless treasures in the Imperial Treasury, and it was a dazzling sight to behold. This was a truly extravagant collection. 5-star and 6-star treasures were like cabbages that could be found everywhere. If they were placed outside, countless people would kill for them. It would definitely be a bloodbath. Lin Fei took a casual look and had no choice but to take his leave. This was a huge temptation. No matter who it was, once they saw too many treasures, they wouldn't know where to start. It was especially so for those with low cultivation realms. No matter what they chose, their mental state would be affected. Little devil, start scanning the data immediately and build a database. This might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I mustn't miss it. Got it. The black crystal card that he had obtained from Princess Fan Loyu had finally come in handy. Even a simple scan of the data was not an easy task. "I'll take this treasure. I'll take this as well." Black axe. Not bad. Mighty. I'll take it. Lin Fei did not walk quickly and had to stop at almost every place before moving on to the next. This lad isn't bad. He has a good mentality and isn't in a hurry at all, unlike the ones above who rushed for treasures the moment they arrived. There aren't many young lads like him. I really want to know what treasure he will choose in the end. The disheveled old man drank a mouthful of wine and muttered to himself. Chapter 24-23. The Royal Treasury. That lad is already at level 3, and he hasn't made up his mind yet. He's indeed patient. You're not even interested in that. I'm even more curious as to what treasures you're going to choose. Weapons, cultivation techniques, or elixirs. The disheveled old man watched as he sipped his wine. Ever since the other party entered the royal treasury, the lad had not been tempted by any of the treasures. At most, he would stand at each spot for a short moment before continuing forward. Unknowingly, he had arrived at level 3. There were many items in the royal treasury, including all sorts of treasures and cultivation techniques from the Empire and beyond. Although there were only 5 levels, it didn't mean that the higher the level, the better the treasures. In order to find something suitable for oneself in the royal treasury, one had to have a calm heart and a discerning eye apart from patience. Lin Fei took more than half a day to reach level 3. Not many people could have such a mentality. This was the first time the disheveled old man was interested in someone. It had been a long time since something as interesting as this happened. With a flip of his hand, he took out another wine gourd. He gulped down the wine. This seems to be the white-boned demon, Bao of the demon race. It's a 7-star treasure, and it's also one of the top 10 treasures on the list. Lin Fei was standing before a sealed treasure. It was a 7-star treasure called the White Bone Demon Bow. From level 1 to level 3 to level 4, Lin Fei's horizons had been broadened along the way. He had seen more than 100,000 treasures, and the amount of energy required to collect data had reached a terrifying figure. It had only been half a day, and he had even used up a few black crystal cards. Collecting data wasn't an easy task. Furthermore, the system had to expend a terrifying amount of energy to build a database within a short period of time. If this was in the past, Lin Fei would have only been able to watch helplessly. Lin Fei's gaze lingered on the white bone demon bow for a moment before moving on to the next item. Right now, he only had to collect data continuously. He only had to deal with the selection of treasures later on. In any case, he had the database, and he could slowly swap them out in the future. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Lin Fei stopped as he walked. The database recorded the data of more than 1 million treasures, including medicinal pills, weapons, and other data. Lin Fei had taken everything in the royal treasury in one fell swoop. From now on, Lin Fei also controlled a royal treasury. He could get whatever he wanted. All he had to do was spend some time and energy. It's finally done. When the data of the last treasure was recorded, Lin Fei had the urge to laugh out loud. But since it was not the right place, he could only hold it in. Over 10 million treasures. This is awesome. Lin Fei beamed with joy. I have to choose 3 treasures first. As for what treasures to choose, Lin Fei had already made up his mind. The first would be an alchemical pill, which could be used to break through to the next level. Using the alchemical pill would allow him to advance to the second job transition. The second would be a cultivation technique, and the third would be a weapon. No one would doubt his choice. Kid, you're pretty good. When Lin Fei came down with the 3 items, the disheveled old man was already there. There are way too many treasures in the royal treasury. I don't know how to choose. Lin Fei said with a simple and honest expression. I can only choose these 3. Average. The disheveled old man made a copy of a cultivation technique for Lin Fei and tossed it over casually. It was followed by a wine gourd. Kid, not bad. This old man will treat you to a drink today. The wine gourd flew over, and Lin Fei caught it instinctively. Thank you, Senior. Lin Fei did not stand on ceremony. He knew that the immortal brew in the wine gourd was good wine, and it wasn't easy to refine this gourd. He opened the gourd and gulped down 3 mouthfuls. As soon as the wine entered his mouth, it turned into a surging wave of heat. It was extremely domineering, and it caught Lin Fei off guard. Fortunately, the system immediately transferred energy units over to suppress this wave of heat, allowing it to enter his body. Good wine. It's the best in the world. Lin Fei exclaimed. The disheveled old man was slightly stunned. The biggest difference between this wine and others was its domineering nature. Most people would have to channel it with all their might after taking a single mouthful. Even a 7th transition job expert would not be able to suppress that domineering nature after taking 3 mouthfuls. The disheveled old man had only realized that he hadn't reminded Su Zimo after the other party took a sip. To think that the other party was an expert in wine. Kid, are you all right? The disheveled old man asked. Lin Fei chuckled. I'm all right. It's just a little domineering. The disheveled old man's greatest interest was wine. Outsiders had given him the nickname Wine Immortal. One could imagine how much he loved wine. Good. You can drink 3 mouthfuls in a row. This is the blazing young wine. It's made from rare materials that I've gathered from all over the place. Most people can only drink half a mouthful, and they would have to meditate for half a day. Kid, you're amazing. You're fine after 3 mouthfuls. How rare. The disheveled old man loved wine and admired men who knew how to drink even more. You're in a hurry to leave as well. I still have a lot of good wine here. Before Lin Fei could say anything, the disheveled old man pulled Lin Fei out of the royal family's treasure vault and entered the void world. In the depths of the void, there was a residence. The moment he entered the residence, the fragrance of wine wafted over. For someone like Lin Fei, he could barely control himself when it came to wine. This old man sure is terrifying. If not for the system, I wouldn't have been able to take it. Lin Fei was tipsy by the time he returned to Emperor's Peak. Lin Fei was dragged away by the disheveled old man to drink for 2 days straight. The disheveled old man was exceptionally hospitable, bringing out all sorts of fine alcohol as if it didn't cost money. He had even prepared a delicious meal personally. It took 2 days for Lin Fei to recover after returning to Emperor's Peak. I've got to be more careful next time. Lin Fei rubbed his throbbing temples and let out a bitter laugh, helplessly. Initially, he thought that the old man was an 8th transition job. But in the end, he found out that the old man was a 9th transition job expert with extreme combat strength. Lin Fei had gained a lot from his trip to the palace. At the very least, he knew that the great emperor wasn't the only 9th transition job expert in the empire. Master, the 5th prince, is here. A servant ran in hurriedly. He interrupted Lin Fei's peaceful cultivation. 5th prince. Lin Fei narrowed his eyes and curled his lips. Seems like he's received the news. Invite him in. The servant turned to leave. Lin Fei had no intention of changing locations. He was prepared to meet the 5th prince in the courtyard. Soon, the 5th prince led a few black-robed subordinates over with great strides. It was especially so for the 5th prince. He was from the royal family and had an esteemed status. His aura was exuberant, and he was like a god of war. The void trembled as though it was about to collapse from his aura. Chapter 24:24. The two of you, go up and teach Lin Fei what the rules are. After all, nothing can be accomplished without rules. The man in black spoke once again, his gaze as sharp as knives. The 2 men in black behind the 5th prince pounced forward, one after the other. Their killing intent gushed forth, and the space where Lin Fei was immediately trembled. The men in black were experts in the military, and they specialized in joint attacks. It would be a piece of cake for them to deal with a guy who was just a 1st transition job. Scram! Lin Fei took a step forward and let out a loud bellow. The man in black who had charged forward acted as if he had encountered the most terrifying thing in the world. He was instantly sent flying like a broken sack. After landing on the ground, he spurted out large mouthfuls of blood and lost his ability to fight. And this was because Lin Fei had shown mercy. Trying to put on a show of strength? You guys can't do it. Lin Fei said calmly. Although that bellow was not directed at the 5th prince, no one was a fool and could easily sense how terrifying that bellow was. Horrifying roar. The 5th prince stared at Lin Fei and said, "That's right." The trusted aide at the side wanted to say something, but the 5th prince threw a glance at him and did not dare to speak again. "Go and stand outside the door. No one is to enter without my orders." The 5th prince's subordinates, acting on their own, was actually the 5th prince's intention. He wanted to suppress Lin Fei. This was also the 5th prince's way of using people. He had not expected that Lin Fei would be harder to deal with than he had imagined. He had taken action at the slightest disagreement and had seriously injured his subordinates. "I heard that you've obtained the royal family's secret technique, the heaven-defying 9 steps. You should know the reason why I'm here today." The 5th prince's eyes were bright and piercing, as if he would deal with Lin Fei if Lin Fei did not hand over the secret technique. Lin Fei sat down again and said with a smile, "I can understand it as your highness threatening me or—" The 5th prince did not like schemes as they were very sinister. It was not as satisfying as using martial strength. Any schemes would be like paper tigers before absolute martial strength. They would not be able to withstand a single blow from martial strength. Are you going to hand it over or not? The fifth prince looked impatient. If not for the importance of the heaven-defying 9 steps, the fifth prince would not have come in person. This was also giving enough face to Lin Fei. If it was an ordinary person, 1 word and they would have taken the initiative to deliver it obediently. I'm sorry, I don't have the intention of handing over anything. Lin Fei said with a smile, since you know about the heaven-defying 9 steps, you must know that it's not impossible to get it from me, provided that you pay a certain price. For the sake of your status as the fifth prince, as long as you give me 20 black crystal cards, the heaven-defying 9-step secret skill is yours. This price is very fair. The fifth prince almost vomited blood. The veins on his face bulged. Stinking brat, you're courting death. He raised his hand and struck out with his palm. It was the most ordinary air, splitting palm. In the hands of the fifth prince, its power had increased by more than 10 times. This fifth prince's occupation should be related to the fire-type Blazing Sunday. The most ordinary air-splitting palm contains a domineering palm intent of extreme yang. No wonder he appears to be so domineering. The fifth prince's palm had allowed Lin Fei to see through the fifth prince's background. Who's afraid of you? Lin Fei did not stand up. He roared at the air-splitting palm, one roar after another. His voice was like a great bell, continuously colliding with the other party's air-splitting palm. After 6 roars, the palm was completely shattered. Blazing sun aura rose around the fifth prince, isolating him from the impact of the repercussions. No wonder you're so arrogant. Roaring warrior, a top-notch occupation. You do have some capabilities, but this is not enough. The fifth prince's casual palm strike was enough to test his opponent's strength. If they were at the same realm, the fifth prince might have some reservations. However, the other party was only at the pinnacle of the first transition, and the difference between them was too great. You can't even withstand a single air-splitting palm. If I were to use some other tricks, you'd definitely die. The fifth prince said domineeringly, on account that you're my father's junior brother, hand over the heaven-defying 9 steps, and I can forgive your disrespect. Lin Fei smiled coldly in his heart. If not for the fact that he did not want to reveal his true strength, he would have injured the fifth prince with a single terrifying roar and made him leave the emperor's peak obediently. Your Highness seems to be very confident. Then continue to try and see if you can injure me. Lin Fei was still smiling. As long as you can injure me, I'll give you the heaven-defying 9 steps with both hands. If you lose, scram as far as you can. The fifth prince's killing intent surged. No one has ever dared to say such words to me. Don't think that I'll be afraid of you just because my father gave you the identity of my junior brother. As long as I don't kill you, my father won't say anything. Now, I'll let you witness my fist technique. Well said, well done. I'll be waiting for your fist technique. Lin Fei's lips curled up. He stared at the fifth prince fearlessly. The fifth prince was infuriated by Lin Fei. If it were somewhere else, he would have killed Lin Fei with a single punch and would not have bothered to waste time. However, this was the emperor's peak. He had already decided that he would make Lin Fei lie in bed for 1.5 years before he could vent his anger. Otherwise, he would not be able to think clearly. Blazing sun fist. The fifth prince punched again. The surrounding void was instantly filled with a scorching aura. A golden blazing sun rose behind the fifth prince. As the fifth prince punched out, the temperature where Lin Fei was and even his surroundings rose abruptly, forming an unimaginably high temperature. Even space started to crackle and collapse, forming many black holes. This fist technique was very terrifying. In an instant, it could kill all enemies with the extreme yang temperature. This was only the temperature in the periphery. The fist was covered in a golden color, giving off a terrifying feeling. Any existence that was hit by this fist would turn into ashes and cease to exist. Your fist technique is domineering, but it's still far from enough to deal with me. I forgot to tell you that this is the Emperor's Peak, my territory. I call the shots in my territory." Lin Fei slammed his palm on the stone table, and the entire Emperor's Peak produced a huge commotion. A huge whirlpool was formed, and endless energy of the universe surged over, forming a huge barrier in front of Lin Fei. This was a barrier formed by the pure energy of the universe. The fifth prince's attack only shattered over 20 barriers before the force dissipated. Lin Fei was still sitting there, looking very calm. "You're using unorthodox methods. Watch how I destroy you." The fifth prince did not intend to give up on dealing with Lin Fei. If he did not take care of Lin Fei today, how would he be able to show his face? If his brothers and sisters heard about this, he would become a big joke. The fifth prince did not care about his methods against Lin Fei. The fifth prince did not take this seriously. In front of his scorching sun fist, nothing could withstand a single blow. Chapter 24-25. The disturbance caused by Lin Fei and the fifth prince had caused a commotion in the cultivation area. The energy of heaven and earth in the entire cultivation area surged crazily as a huge vortex appeared on the Emperor's Peak. A massive amount of energy of heaven and earth surged toward the Emperor's Peak. The students and even the elders who were cultivating on the peak immediately sensed the fluctuation of the energy of heaven and earth. Immediately, they felt the energy of the world fluctuating. The energy of the world was being drawn over by an indescribable force, and it was being forcefully extracted. Everyone woke up from their cultivation. What's going on? Why is the energy of heaven and earth out of control? Look, the energy of heaven and earth is flowing over there. Emperor's Peak. Look at the sky above the Emperor's Peak. What the hell? Is that Lin Fei cultivating? Everyone immediately reacted to such a huge commotion and soon found the direction of the energy of heaven and earth. When they saw the vortex above the Emperor's Peak, everyone was dumbfounded and shocked. This is too terrifying. How does that kid cultivate? He's absorbing the energy of heaven and earth. You guys are lucky that you're far away. I'm not far away, and I can't absorb the energy of heaven and earth at all. You too. Me too. That's a tough life. Looking at the energy of heaven and earth that was constantly being absorbed, everyone's faces darkened after the shock. If this went on, how were they going to cultivate? In the cultivation area, it was not uncommon to absorb the energy of heaven and earth in a domineering manner, but it was far less domineering than today's. This was simply killing them. No. Someone is fighting on the Emperor's Peak. The fifth prince. That's the fifth prince. The elders of the cultivation area also arrived. Such a huge commotion would definitely alarm those elders. They immediately came to the sky above the Emperor's Peak and saw the situation on the Emperor's Peak, and their expressions changed. "This is the fifth prince's blazing sun fist," an elder exclaimed. "How is this possible? The fifth prince's blazing sun fist has been blocked. Lin Fei is actually safe and sound. This is a restriction formation. I understand now. Lin Fei is really a genius." An elder came to a realization. All the elders present had excellent eyesight. Very quickly he understood what was going on, and his heart was filled with shock. He was truly shocked by Lin Fei's wealth. Lin Fei is really smart. He's using formations and restrictions to mobilize the energy of heaven and earth to contend against the fifth prince. Not everyone can do such a thing. Yes, Lin Fei was in an invincible position by relying on the array formations and restrictions. Although the fifth prince was a first-rate job with tyrannical strength, if he wanted to go against the entire cultivation grounds world energy, he would not be able to do so. He's destined to lose. Just based on this formation restriction, I'm convinced. As expected of this season's Rookie King. I just don't know. Does this Lin Fei have any means of retaliation? If so, for Lin Fei, who came from a poor family, many elders did not like it. Today's scene had greatly changed their impression of Lin Fei. To be able to go up against the renowned fifth prince of the royal family with the abilities of a pinnacle first transition job and remain undefeated, there were not many people who had such capabilities. The deputy headmaster is here. Due to the commotion, the deputy headmaster arrived as well. The first to arrive was Li Fengzheng. Seeing the situation at Emperor Peak, he was also shocked. This kid is too daring. Why is he fighting against the fifth prince? A country bumpkin will always be a country bumpkin. Li Fengzheng's impression of Lin Fei was very bad. This guy had caused them to lose face time and time again. Now he was evenly matched with the fifth prince, displaying terrifying means. This made Li Fengzheng feel very uncomfortable. A pinnacle first transition job is able to use formations and restrictions to fight against the fifth prince. How long has it been? If this continues, who will be able to suppress this kid? Li Fengzheng kept frowning. Brother Fengzheng, you're here too. Deputy Headmaster Feng Mingwen arrived as well. His expression was ugly and dangerous. How could I not come with such a big commotion? Li Fengzheng said. Even the energy of heaven and earth in the cultivation ground is fluctuating. I didn't expect this kid to cause such a big commotion. Feng Mingwen had been paying attention to the commotion at Emperor Peak. His Highness seems to be about to use his killer move. The Scorching Sun Fist seems to be unable to break the barrier formed by the energy of heaven and earth. While the two deputy headmasters were conversing, there were new changes below. The fifth prince had thought that by using the Scorching Sun Fist, he would be able to injure Lin Fei. However, after tens or hundreds of punches, the fifth prince had exhausted more than half of the energy in his body. On the other hand, Lin Fei was completely fine. Lin Fei hadn't even made a move. Lin Fei had a relaxed smile on his face, constantly provoking the fifth prince. If the Scorching Sun Fist doesn't work, then I'll give you a ruthless move. The fifth prince was unwilling to give up. Why did a guy with a first transition job dare to be impudent before him? No one was qualified to be impudent before him. Fifth prince, you've been attacking for so long. Aren't you going to stop and take a break? Lin Fei crossed his legs. He chuckled and said. The fifth prince withdrew his fist and said, You're really not bad. You used a restrictive array formation to block this prince. No matter how powerful a restrictive array formation is, it's still a restrictive array formation. This prince will let you see what a true killing move is. Blazing hell. The fifth prince let out a loud bellow and a golden blazing sun rose up. Everyone's vision was filled with golden light. Even the spectators outside felt as if they were being grilled by the blazing flames. Their vital energy and blood started to seethe and evaporate incessantly. They hurriedly circulated their energy to fend off the invasion of this power. The royal family's martial arts fanatic has mastered this secret technique. As expected of the fifth prince, another deputy headmaster appeared in the sky above the emperor's peak, nodding incessantly at the fifth prince's secret technique. Blazing hell. Once it's performed, not a single blade of grass will grow within a perimeter. Everything will be wiped out. Only the fifth prince, who has a pure yang constitution, can perform this. I wonder how the newbie, Lin Fei, will be able to fend off this. If there were fights in the cultivation grounds, the elders would not interfere. As long as there was no threat to one's life, they would not interfere. No one had a good understanding of how amazing the Emperor's Peak was. Lin Fei had been able to activate the formations and restrictions to plunder the energies of the heavens and the earth. In the eyes of the other party, it was because of the formations and restrictions that existed within them. Not many people would have thought that it was Lin Fei who had set them up. Finger of heaven and earth, facing the menacing secret technique. Even with the formations and restrictions, Lin Fei could still feel how terrifying this secret technique was. This power seeped into every part of the space, and the energies of the heavens and the earth were rapidly evaporated. Lin Fei was enraged. If he did not show his true abilities, he would really be bullied. With a clear bellow, the formations and restrictions changed. Chapter 24-26. Even though the fifth prince had taken out the mysterious golden armor, his body still trembled slightly. Even with the protection of the armor, the fifth prince was still injured by the finger. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of the fifth prince's mouth. He was injured. No matter how powerful the fifth prince was, he would not be able to fight against the entire cultivation area. Fifth prince, I only used 30% of my strength just now. If you still don't know what's good for you, it won't be 30% next time. It'll be at least 70%. I wonder if the fifth prince's physique can withstand it. Lin Fei had a smile on his face. The fifth prince's expression flickered, and he thought to himself, why is there such a powerful restriction formation on Emperor's Peak? It can actually mobilize the power of the cultivation ground, giving it the ability to fight against me. If we continue to fight, it will only benefit this brat. He immediately made a decision. Junior Lin Fei is really good. As expected of a future pillar of the empire, I've learned a lot. The fifth prince withdrew his aura, and the golden armor returned to his body. 20 black crystal cards as you wish. At this point, there was no benefit to be gained if it continued. The fifth prince put away his thoughts. It was impossible to teach Lin Fei a lesson today. As long as this kid was on the Emperor's Peak, he would not have any chance. He cursed in his heart. Lin Fei also put away his barrier. He was amiable, and no one could tell that he had fought. He shook his head and said, 20 is not enough. I need at least 35. The extra 15 can be considered compensation. If I didn't have some skill, I wouldn't be standing here right now. Lin Fei, don't go too far, the fifth prince said angrily. The black crystal cards were not for nothing. 20 was already too expensive, let alone 35. This was extortion. What a jerk. 40. Lin Fei said unhurriedly. It's up to you whether you want it or not. Anyway, this is my price. If you don't like it, you can leave. No one wants you to buy it. The fifth prince was full of murderous intent. He was about to curse, but he threw it down in the end. He was afraid that if he spoke, it would not be as simple as 40 cards. The heaven-defying 9 steps was too important to him. His little sister had successfully obtained the heaven-defying 9 steps and gained a certain advantage. 40 it is. The fifth prince snorted coldly and suppressed his anger. I need time to prepare. No problem. Come and get it yourself when you've gathered it. The fifth prince flicked his sleeves and turned to leave. There was no point in staying any longer. He hated Lin Fei to death, and he wanted nothing more than to chop him into pieces. 40 black crystal cards in hand. The battle between Lin Fei and the fifth prince had established their new positions. When everyone looked at Lin Fei again, their gazes were strange, and they kept a respectful distance from him. After offending the fifth prince, one could easily imagine what would happen to him in the future. Moreover, the fifth prince was not an easy person to negotiate with. After suffering a small loss at the Emperor's Peak, he would definitely take revenge in the future. Originally, many people tried to curry favor with Lin Fei. However, after this battle, the Emperor's Peak became deserted. No one dared to get close to Lin Fei. If the fifth prince bore a grudge against them, their future would be over. After the internal members of the royal family heard about this, they paid more attention to Lin Fei. It was not common for the fifth prince to suffer a loss. It was said that after the battle, the fifth prince smashed many things in the palace. Some of them were even the fifth prince's favorite treasures. It was easy to imagine how bad the fifth prince's temper was that day. This kid is not bad. He actually set up a restrictive formation and activated the heaven and earth energy of the cultivation ground, causing Little Five to suffer a loss. It's a good chance to temper Little Five. After hearing the news, Emperor Yuanzhang revealed a smile. The person who reported also realized that Lin Fei held a high position in the emperor's heart. Not only was His Majesty not angry after teaching the fifth prince a lesson, he was also very happy. It was rare. Although the fifth prince was angry, 3 days later he sent someone to deliver 40 black crystal cards and successfully retrieved the heaven-defying 9 steps. Awesome! With 40 black crystal cards, Lin Fei was quite satisfied. After my battle with the fifth prince, those hidden princes will definitely not be able to sit still. The day of getting rich is coming. Lin Fei smiled and put away the black crystal cards. It was just as the saying went. A few days later, there were people asking about the heaven-defying 9 steps. Lin Fei threw out a fixed price, 25 black crystal cards. Either learn it or get lost. Lin Fei was very direct. These people represented the hidden princes. At first, they were angry, but after Lin Fei's words, they completely lost their temper. They could only go back and discuss with the people behind the scenes. Each of the princes represented a huge interest group. 25 black crystal cards was not a high price. Wouldn't they be able to get it if they pooled their money? Lin Fei quickly sold several copies of the heaven-defying 9 steps and obtained a total of 125 black crystal cards. He was not interested to know who had bought the heaven-defying 9 steps. It was fine as long as he got the black crystal cards. After all, the people behind the scenes were those princes. With over 100 black crystal cards in hand, Lin Fei was in no hurry to refine them. After all, there was no rush. They might be of great use if he kept them. After settling the matters of the heaven-defying 9 steps, Lin Fei activated the restrictions of the formation and announced that he was going into seclusion. In the eyes of those who were observant, Lin Fei was preparing to break through to the next realm. It was not difficult to break through from the peak of the first transition to the second transition. Outside the emperor's peak, Qinlan was on the verge of cursing. She cursed Lin Fei 10,000 times in her heart. This shameless be **starred. Why didn't he go into seclusion earlier? Qinlan knew better than anyone else. Had Lin Fei taken out the treasures from the royal treasury? Taking out the treasures of the demon race would affect her future. She couldn't help but feel nervous. The restrictions on the emperor's peak were activated, and Qinlan could only watch helplessly. A few days ago, the news of Lin Fei's fight with the fifth prince had spread like wildfire. Everyone knew how terrifying this newcomer king was. Even if he had used some tricks, it was still a skill. I can only wait for this kid to come out. Qinlan left helplessly. By the time Lin Fei came out of seclusion and reactivated the restrictions on the emperor's peak, a month had passed. The cultivation area was once again calm and tranquil. Everyone started cultivating again. After coming out of seclusion, Lin Fei was already at the second transition. Before he could sit down and rest, a figure descended from the sky and grabbed toward him. "Good lad, you've finally come out." An aged voice came from above Lin Fei, with a hint of excitement and joy. Swoosh! Swoosh! An overwhelming amount of worldly energy gushed over, forming many barriers above Lin Fei. The person who came was clearly not a weakling. With this grab, the barriers kept shattering, and he continued to grab downward. Interesting. Boom, boom, boom. The barriers kept shattering, and the other party's palm continued to advance with irresistible force. Just as it was about to grab Lin Fei, an even thicker barrier suddenly appeared, blocking this grab. No matter how hard the other party tried, he could not take a single step forward. Chapter 24-27. As the hand retracted, an old man appeared in front of Lin Fei, looking at him with a smile. Lin Fei didn't know this person and had no impression of him. However, he had an air of superiority about him. One look and Lin Fei could tell that he was a superior figure. "You are?" Lin Fei asked. Someone had appeared out of nowhere, especially when he had just come out of seclusion. It was hard for Lin Fei not to notice him. The other party's identity was definitely related to the academy. The old man was slightly surprised. "You don't know me, kid?" Lin Fei rolled his eyes. I really don't know you." Chun Yuan Shan looked a little embarrassed. Everyone in the academy knew who he was. He didn't expect to meet someone he didn't know today. He had thought that this kid would. Luckily, no one had come today. If word got out, he would become a joke to those old fogies. "I am your principal, Chun Yuan Shan," Chun Yuan Shan said solemnly. Sitting down again, Lin Fei ordered the servants to bring tea. He had never expected that Deputy Principal Chun Yuan Shan would come looking for him at this time. There were several principals in Imperial College. Apart from the old principal, who was the principal, there were several other principals. There were also a few deputy principals. Lin Fei had met the two deputy principals, Li Fangzheng and Fang Mingwen, but this was the first time he had met Deputy Principal Chun Yuan Shan. Rumor had it that this deputy principal rarely interfered with the affairs of the academy and spent most of his time on his own matters. He was a technological geek. Many students had only heard of his name, but had never seen him. Lin Fei found it hard to believe that Deputy Principal Chun Yuan Shan would come looking for him. Chun Yuan Shan took a sip of tea. "You're not bad, kid. You were the one who set up this restrictive array. It's normal for His Highness the Fifth Prince to suffer under your hands." "You have a good eye, Principal Chun," Lin Fei flattered. Chun Yuan Shan glared at him. "Everyone says that you, the newcomer king, have a bad temper, but what the outside world says is false. You are quite interesting. To be able to rely on array formations to block this old man's attack. There aren't many people in the entire academy that can do this. In the Tao of array formations, you can be considered a grandmaster." Lin Fei did not intend to hide the formation. In the eyes of some people, they could recognize it with a single glance, so it was not surprising that school head Chin was able to see through it. "Nothing much. I was just thinking about it." Chun Yuan Shan glanced at Lin Fei. "You're good. This old man has nothing better to do every day, and none of the formations and restrictions I've set up are as impressive as yours. You're able to draw upon the energy of heaven and earth without any restrictions. Why don't you give it a try?" For a moment, Lin Fei couldn't figure out President Chen's thoughts. This guy didn't come looking for him just to chat with him, right? "Brat, you don't have to be nervous. This old man is actually looking for you to study this array formation with you." When Chun Yuan Shan saw Lin Fei's expression, he knew what the other party was thinking. He explained, "This old man is mainly in charge of the Tao of array formations and restrictions in the academy. From the day you fought with the Fifth Prince, this old man knew that you have such great talent in the Tao of array formations and restrictions. By relying on an array formation to fight against the Fifth Prince, you already have a deep understanding of the essence of array formations and restrictions. Today, this old man is here to discuss the Tao of array formations and restrictions with you, brat. You won't reject this old man, right?" Lin Fei was suddenly enlightened. This is a common problem of technical geeks. Chun Yuan Shan's words. Lin Fei finally understood Chun Yuan Shan's intention. After all, an array formation could control the energy of heaven and earth. The essence of the array formation was something that anyone would want to know. Lin Fei really didn't care much about this thing. By relying on the system, even if it was a more difficult array formation, he could still set it up. "Dean Chin, you must be joking. How can I be a great master of array formations? Let's have a chat." "That's not a problem at all," Lin Fei said with a smile. "Yes, just a chat." Chun Yuan Shan's eyes lit up. One had to admit that Chun Yuan Shan, the vice dean, was really a technical geek. When it came to the Tao of array formations and restrictions, he was very clear and logical. Fortunately, Lin Fei had the system, so the two of them soon guessed the same thing. At the beginning, Chun Yuan Shan wanted to test Lin Fei with some difficult questions, but he was dumbfounded later. Lin Fei knew more about array formations than him, but Lin Fei answered them easily. On the contrary, some of Lin Fei's questions made Qin Yuanshan frown. Finally, he encountered a difficult problem. The two of them chatted on the Emperor Peak for 3 days. If Chen Yuanshan had not been busy in the end, they might have continued. Only then did Lin Fei stretch himself. It's really tiring to discuss with a technical geek. Lin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He had known for a long time that the brains of a technical geek were all about technology. Moreover, he had been discussing array formations with Chen Yuanshan for 3 days straight. Lin Fei almost couldn't handle it. If it was anyone else, they would have raised their hands and surrendered. Even though Lin Fei had only spent 3 days, he had gained a lot. Chen Yuanshan was an outstanding expert in the Tao of formations and restrictions. After chatting with each other, Lin Fei gained a lot. He had a new understanding of array formations and restrictions. Dean Chen's attainments in the Tao of formations and restrictions are extremely profound. Rumor has it that Dean Chen is most proficient in formations and restrictions. He's not someone to be trifled with. In the future, it seems like I can also pay attention to this. Lin Fei was now in the realm of the second job transition. When there was no one around, he could use all his strength. Once he was in front of others, the strength of the second job transition was far inferior. The Tao of formation restrictions might be a good help. It might be difficult for others to go deep into it, but Lin Fei was different. He had many methods. No matter how complicated the array formations and restrictions were, he could still deduce them in front of the system. Lin Fei's thoughts were clear. He finally had a way to display his strength from another aspect. Furthermore, he wouldn't be suspected by others. Thinking of this, Lin Fei couldn't help but let out a long roar. Lin Fei, you're playing with me. Not long after Chen Yuanshan left, a black shadow rushed in. Master! She forcefully. A servant hurriedly ran in from behind. Qinlan stared at Lin Fei in exasperation, as if she wanted to shoot Lin Fei to death with her gaze. Lin Fei asked the servant to leave and said lazily, "Senior sister, did you not sleep well? With such a bad temper, it's easy for you to grow old quickly." "You bastard!" Qinlan's chest violently bulged up and down. It was very attractive. "If you say one more word, you won't be able to get what you want." Lin Fei waved at Qinlan. "It just so happens that my shoulder is a little sore. Come over and help me massage it. Once it's comfortable, everything will be easier to discuss." Qinlan glared at him. "This guy is too much of a bastard. Who does he think I am? I am the candidate saintess of the demon god empire. In the future, I will become the saintess." Chapter 24-28. Qinlan agreed in the end. She had no choice but to agree. She was afraid that she would miss her last chance. She was just helping Lin Fei to loosen his shoulders. It was not a difficult task. She just had to bear with it. "Yes, it's here." Lin Fei pointed at his shoulder. "Bastard brat, you'll have a good time later." Qinlan gritted her teeth. She placed her hands on Lin Fei's shoulders and massaged them. Even if it was her first time, she still made it look presentable. Lin Fei was surrounded by a fragrance. It was Qinlan's faint body fragrance. "Saintess, I asked you to give me a massage, not a child's play." After a while, Lin Fei was unhappy. "Use more strength." "What do you mean loosen the bones?" "That's not it at all." Qinlan really wanted to give Lin Fei a slap, but she endured it in the end. "This rascal is most likely doing it on purpose. I won't fall for it. Let's see what you can do." Lin Fei was very satisfied as he enjoyed the massage of a demon race's saintess. As for Qinlan's current expression, Lin Fei could see it clearly and did not care. Anyway, she had a favor to ask of him, unless she did not want it any more. Just like that, one person enjoyed while the other massaged silently. Time passed in the blink of an eye. It feels so good. 2 hours later, Lin Fei stretched, feeling refreshed. Can you tell me now? Qinlan said with a bad expression. 2 hours. This guy slept for a full 2 hours. What a shameless guy. She knew that this guy was sleeping. In the end, Qinlan could only grit her teeth and continue massaging until he woke up. If news of this spread in the demon god empire, everyone would be dumbfounded. A saintess candidate, a popular candidate for the position of saintess in the future, massaging a human kid, was definitely shocking news. Lin Fei ignored her murderous gaze. I do have one item. I heard that the demon god empire is rich. As long as you take out 100 black crystal cards, I can give you a demon race treasure. I can give you a demon clan treasure. Of course, this treasure is not a treasure from the imperial treasury, but a demon clan treasure that I obtained by chance. Qinlan flew into a rage. She couldn't care less. You dare to trick me! His palm slashed toward Lin Fei. Qinlan was really angry. 2 hours of hard work. In the end, all she heard was this kind of news. Qinlan did not believe that a random treasure could compare to the treasures in the royal treasury. This kid was fooling him. In his rage, he sent out a palm strike, intending to teach Lin Fei a lesson. As soon as the palm landed, Qinlan bumped into an invisible barrier, unable to advance even an inch. Don't waste your strength. This is my territory. Even the 5th prince would suffer a small loss here. If you don't mind making a fool of yourself, you can continue. Everyone knew that the 5th prince had suffered a small loss at Emperor Peak. Naturally, Qinlan was aware of this. However, she could not take this lying down. Moreover, she could not unleash her full strength at Emperor Peak. You're shameless. Lin Fei said seriously, you're wrong. I'm not shameless. You're the one who attacked without saying anything. If it were someone weaker, they would have been killed on the spot. However, I won't hold it against you. I know that you must think that the treasure is not good enough. You haven't even seen it before. How can you be so sure that it's not good enough? Qinlan did not know what to say. In this world, there were many demon clan treasures that were left outside. No one could guarantee that they would know all the demon clan treasures. Even she could not guarantee it. Then take it out. Lin Fei waved his hand, isolating all auras with the array formation. Based on what you said, if I don't show it to your senior, she will definitely not believe me. Then open your eyes and take a good look, lest you say that I'm lying to you. The array formation on Emperor Peak had been set up again, and all traces had been erased. Lin Fei was not worried that others would notice it at all, especially in this courtyard. Lin Fei extended his hand, and an item landed in his hand. He casually unsealed it. A wave of demon qi spread out. Demon clan treasure. Qinlan exclaimed the instant Lin Fei took out the treasure, and its aura leaked out. Her breathing quickened, and her fragrant lips parted slightly. She had an expression of disbelief. The treasure in Lin Fei's hand was a bow. It was a dark red longbow. Qinlan could tell at a glance. This was a treasure of the demon clan. It was very powerful. Only top-notch experts of the demon clan had seen a treasure of this grade. Even her master did not have one. How is it? Is it pleasing to your eyes? This treasure was naturally something that Lin Fei had recently replicated. Compared to the one in the royal treasury, this treasure was different from that one. If there were 2 treasures that were exactly the same, as long as one was not a fool, they would know that something was wrong. Therefore, Lin Fei modified the shape of the treasure so that others would not associate it with the other treasure. In terms of power, there was little difference. The system was that awesome. Can I take a look for myself? Qinlan suppressed the excitement in her heart. Qinlan knew very well how much credit she would receive if she brought back such a treasure. She would definitely be able to surpass those saintess candidates. Here. Originally, Qinlan was still worried that Lin Fei would not give it to her. She did not expect that, as soon as she spoke, Lin Fei would casually toss the treasure over as if it was a piece of trash. Demon Clan treasure. It really is a Demon Clan treasure. Qinlan grabbed the longbow. There was no need to test it. She immediately confirmed it. This was a genuine Demon Clan treasure. Moreover, it was a very good one. Holding the longbow in her hand, Qinlan wanted to take it away by force for a moment. She could tell that there was no imprint on the longbow. It was obviously an ownerless item. If she took it away, the other party would definitely not be able to take it back. After struggling for a while, Qinlan finally chose to give up. If she wanted to snatch it away from this kid, she might expose her identity. Moreover, she might not even be able to leave Monarch Peak. Even though Monarch Peak looked ordinary, it was actually filled with array formations and restrictions. Qinlan did not have the confidence to leave. For example, that move just now, which appeared silently, made Qinlan feel fearful. Thank you, junior brother. You have retrieved a treasure for our demon clan. I believe that from today onwards, you will be a friend of our demon clan, Qinlan said with a smile. She no longer looked angry. Lin Fei waved his hand. Forget about being a friend. This demon bow, 50 black crystal cards. There is no bargaining. As long as you give me the item, you can take it away at any time. Junior brother, isn't 50 black crystal cards too expensive? Qinlan said pitifully. Can't it be cheaper, dear junior brother? Qinlan was indeed the demon clan's saintess candidate. She seemed to have changed into a different person. Her expression was tactful and moving. It was as if she was really facing a pitiful person. 50 black crystal cards. If you want it, then take it. If you don't want it, then don't. Lin Fei would not take the bait. Chapter 24-29. After Qinlan left, there was no news for a long time. Lin Fei couldn't be bothered to care about it. Anyway, the bait had been cast, and he just had to wait for them to take the bait. 50 black crystal cards were very tempting. After all, Lin Fei lacked nothing but energy wall stones. They were the hard currency. Fortunately, he had gotten some black crystal cards from the princes, so he wouldn't lack energy wall stones for a while, and that prince wouldn't give him any trouble in the short term, since he didn't want to learn the heaven-defying 9 steps. Junior brother, you've broken through to the second job transition so quickly. Lin Fei didn't relax for a few days before Deputy Director Qin Yuanshan came. This guy sat down as if he was very familiar with the place. He didn't stand on ceremony at all. He poured some fragrant tea and drank it himself. What brings you here, Senior Brother Qin? Lin Fei knew how to climb up the ladder. Deputy Director Qin Yuanshan directly became Senior Brother Qin. Qin Yuanshan wasn't angry. He smiled. You're living a leisurely life. Those who came with you are either cultivating in seclusion or earning points. You're the only one who hides in the Emperor Peak every day. Look at you. Lin Fei looked aggrieved. Senior Brother Qin, you're wrong about me. I've been cultivating in seclusion recently. You know it's not easy to break through to the top job. Qin Yuanshan knew that this guy was cunning. You're really good at talking. Today, I'm actually prepared to make you a lecturer in the academy. I don't know if you're interested. As long as you agree, from now on, you'll be free and unfettered in the academy. How about it? At this moment, Qin Yuanshan looked like a bad guy who was trying to tempt a kid. Lin Fei was clear about the rules of the capital college. To be honest, he wasn't interested in studying. He had come to the capital college for that piece of land. Study? Earning points. What kind of joke was that? Lin Fei was just about to come up with an excuse to properly plan out his fief when Qin Yuanshan came knocking on his door. Senior brother, what can I teach if you want me to be a lecturer? Lin Fei had a blank look on his face. Qin Yuanshan glared at Lin Fei and said, Don't pretend, you brat. You are full of evil tricks. If I ask you to be a lecturer, you will naturally be lecturing on array formations and restrictions. Such opportunities are rare. Ever since the last Tao discussion, Chen Yuanshan had already regarded Lin Fei as someone on the same level as him. The Tao of formations and restrictions was broad and profound. Even Chen Yuanshan himself hadn't been able to learn it thoroughly. However, this kid was different. His knowledge was unfathomable. There were even some techniques that even Chen Yuanshan felt inferior to. If I become a lecturer, will I really have absolute freedom? Lin Fei asked. Yes, as long as you can satisfy those people, you will be a lecturer in the college. Not only will you have free time, but you will also be able to enjoy all the benefits of the college. Chen Yuanshan smiled. I believe that you will be fine. Being a lecturer is nothing. Lin Fei didn't mind being a lecturer. It was better than studying. More importantly, he would have more free time. After becoming a lecturer, he would be able to enjoy all the benefits of the college. For example, he would be able to use the teleportation array. Among them, the teleportation array attracted Lin Fei the most. A teleportation array was not cheap. It was not something that just anyone could get their hands on. According to the price, a teleportation array would cost up to 300 black crystal cards. That was an astronomical figure. The vice principal of the college had come to invite Lin Fei without any hesitation. Lin Fei agreed. Sure, I'll give it a try. Several vice principals were in charge of certain courses in Imperial College. Chen Yuanshan was in charge of the formation and restriction course. Basically, it was the lecturers who explained the courses. He would only show up once or twice a month to answer questions. Ever since the day of the Tao discussion, Chen Yuanshan had this idea. If he invited Lin Fei back as a lecturer, it would definitely allow the students who studied array formations and restrictions to gain a lot. In the future, it was also possible for a few array formation grandmasters to emerge. When Chen Yuanshan brought Lin Fei to a large classroom, the faces of the people in the classroom changed. Isn't that Lin Fei? Why is he here? Is he here to learn about formation and restriction? The people in the classroom today were all senior lecturers of formation and restriction. Some of them were even the guardians of the college and were famous figures who specialized in formation and restriction. As the #1 college in the kingdom, the Capital Institute attracted all the talents in the kingdom. Those people were happy to come to the Capital Institute to teach, enjoy the benefits of the Capital Institute, and receive the protection of the Capital Institute. This was a good thing that many people were jealous of. Those who could teach in Imperial College were the elites of the empire. Chen Yuanshan was in charge of the formation and restriction formation, which gathered the elites of the empire in the field of formation and restriction formation. Each of them had a very high status, and they were the leaders of this field in the empire. As long as they were willing to join the family, the big families of the empire would offer them top-notch and generous conditions to invite them to join. Chen Yuanshan glanced at the crowd as soon as he came in. Everyone fell silent. Since everyone is here, let me announce something. From today on, there will be one more lecturer in the formation and restriction course. His name is Lin Fei. Chen Yuanshan announced the news as soon as he arrived. The faces of the people in the classroom changed. This news was shocking. A lecturer. There had never been a student who could become a lecturer as soon as he arrived. It was like a meteoric rise. The most important thing was that the other party was too young, ridiculously young. Looking at the people present, who didn't have a certain age, the Tao of formations and restrictions was something that was accumulated over time. Dean Chin, I have a question. I wonder if you can answer it. Among the people present, a green-robed old man slowly stood up. The others immediately revealed expressions of schadenfreude. The old man in front of them was one of the few old seniors in the Tao of formations and restrictions in the empire. No one could ignore his ability. There was a flash of anger in Chen Yuanshan's eyes, but it quickly disappeared. Those who were not paying attention would not notice the change. Elder Yin, if you have any questions, ask away. The cyan-robed elder's name was Yun Zhongtian. He was an elder of the Imperial College and had a very high attainment in tactical formations. Even Qin Yuanshan could not guarantee that he could defeat him. Most importantly, Yun Zhongtian had once competed with Chen Yuanshan for the position of deputy dean. In the end, he was slightly inferior. Since then, they had become mortal enemies. They were always at each other's throats. Whenever Qin Yuanshan proposed something, Yun Zhongtian would oppose it. I heard that Lin Fei is this year's newcomer king. I don't know how he became the lecturer of the formation and restriction course. Dean Qin, do you think he is someone who knows about the formation and restriction course? Although you are the college and have the right to invite the elites of the formation and restriction course to be a lecturer, a newcomer to be a lecturer is ridiculous. I will be the first to disagree, Yun Zhongtian said coldly, not giving the other party any face. When Lin Fei came, he had already understood the situation, especially about the lecturers. Everyone was unhappy with each other, let alone a newcomer like him. Now that this guy had refuted him and ignored him, he was displeased. After becoming a lecturer, he had gained freedom. Anyone who dared to stop him would be his enemy. Old thing, how can you say that? People treat you as a senior. Do you really think that you are the Mount Tai and the Big Dipper? Who says that young people can't master the profound formation and restriction course? Chapter 2430. How dare you speak like that? How dare you talk to Elder Yin like that? Who do you think you are? Do you have any respect for the elderly? Apologize. Apologize right now. I really don't know why the college would accept someone with such low morals like you. After a moment of silence, all the lecturers present started to make things difficult for Lin Fei. Apart from a few who remained silent, most of the rest started to speak up. Everyone in the Capital Institute knew that Lin Fei wasn't liked by the two deputy principals. It wasn't a secret to them. Coincidentally, Elder Yun Zhongtian was on deputy principal Li Fingjing's side, and Li Fengzheng and Qin Yuanshan had a conflict. Yun Zhongtian naturally knew that Lin Fei had messed things up. Without a hint, the people around Yun Zhongtian started to make things difficult for Lin Fei. Without Yun Zhongtian's approval, it would be extremely difficult to teach in the field of formations and restrictions. As the deputy principal, Qin Yuanshan had a lot of authority, but there were still some things that he couldn't do well within his jurisdiction. For example, Yun Zhongtian, who was supported by Li Fengzheng. This time, the invitation for Lin Fei to teach was more or less related to Yun Zhongtian. Although Chen Yuanshan was very good in the field of formations and restrictions, there was still a gap between him and Yun Zhongtian. Even though the gap wasn't huge, he was still inferior to Yun Zhongtian. This was also why Yun Zhongtian had such a huge advantage when he wanted to become the deputy principal. If the old principal hadn't spoken up and succeeded, Yun Zhongtian would have been the deputy principal now. Xiao Lin, don't be so angry. Elder Yin is your senior after all. Qin Yuanshan chuckled as he said to Lin Fei. There wasn't a hint of reprimand in his tone. Everyone was in a dilemma. Lin Fei could already tell that President Qin didn't seem to have reached the level where his words were spoken. That Yun Zhongtian baby was a potential enemy. Although Chen Yuanshan was suspected of using Lin Fei wasn't angry at all. Qin Yuanshan invited him to give a lecture, so it definitely wouldn't be a simple matter. Lin Fei didn't want to know about the academy's affairs. If there was a vice dean who could speak for him in the academy, that would be a good thing. In an instant, Lin Fei sorted out the situation and knew how to deal with it. Lin Fei said, "Dean, you should know that young people have bad tempers and can't take any provocation. Moreover, this Elder Yun's tone is not small at all. You, the dean, haven't said anything, but he has already taken the initiative. Those who don't know might even think that he's the vice dean. And these people, they seem to have become lackeys, barking everywhere." Sigh. As he spoke, he shook his head. Qin Yuanshan almost laughed out loud. He had been unhappy with Yun Zhongtian for a very long time, and he had never found a chance to deal with him. In addition, he had been in charge of the Tao of formations for a very long time and could be considered a senior. He had a very high status in the academy, and it would not be easy to deal with him. Bastard, who are you calling a lackey? Kid, apologize and admit your mistake at once. Admit your mistake. Admit your mistake now. Kneel down and admit your mistake. Lin Fei's harsh words provoked these people again. They glared at Lin Fei as if they were ready to attack him at any time. Yun Zhongtian was a senior of the academy and a great grandmaster of restriction arrays. When had he ever been ignored by a junior like this? His face was gloomy and his eyes were as sharp as knives. What a sharp tongue! Just based on your words, I don't think you're qualified to teach here. Isn't that right, everyone present? Everyone immediately agreed. Yun Zhongtian then said to Chen Yuanshan, Dean Chin, you see no one agrees. Do you think he's still suitable to teach here? What's more, he doesn't know anything at his age. Dean Chin, if you want to recruit some talents for the Dao formations, why don't you tell me? I have a lot of young talents, and any one of them is better than this guy. That way, people won't say that we accept all kinds of mediocre people. That would be a disgrace to Imperial College. These words were actually for Qin Yuanshan. Yun Zhongtian didn't think that Lin Fei was that capable. As for what happened at the Emperor Peak, he had heard a little about it, but he didn't care much about it. As long as Yun Zhongtian stopped Qin Yuanshan from bringing people here, it would be a big victory for Yun Zhongtian. After that, he would undoubtedly deal a blow to Qin Yuanshan's influence. Qin Yuanshan had expected that Yun Zhongtian would not be easy to deal with. No one knew Lin Fei's ability better than him. Even he was not as good as Lin Fei. No matter how powerful Yun Zhongtian was, he was not the same. He, Elder Yun, you can't say that. Chan Yuanshan said seriously. Who said that young people are useless? It's the world of young people now, and each generation is better than the previous one. Elder Yin, you haven't seen Lin Fei's ability. So how do you know Lin Fei's ability? He's the newcomer king this year, and he's His Majesty's little junior brother. Do you think His Majesty is blind? That was serious. No matter how bold Yun Zhongtian was, he wouldn't dare to say that His Majesty was blind. His Majesty had admitted that Lin Fei was Lin Fei's little junior brother. If he dared to say anything, he would definitely suffer. Headmaster Qin, since His Majesty has admitted Lin Fei, he must be outstanding. How about this? If Lin Fei wants to come in and teach, then we'll do things according to the old rules. As long as he can defeat the 10 teachers here, this old man will not have any objections. Yun Zhongtian immediately had a new idea. Qin Yuanshan knew that Yun Zhongtian, this old fox, would bring up this matter. He turned to look at Lin Fei. Little Lin, you do have the ability. Right now, they don't know you very well. I wonder if you're interested in exchanging a few blows with them? How could Lin Fei not know what they were planning? Isn't it just exchanging pointers? I don't have any objections. However, as the newcomer king this year, exchanging pointers is meaningless. I heard that Elder Yun is a senior and thinks highly of himself. I wonder if you're interested in making a bet with me? Let's use 20 black crystal cards as the wager. Does Elder Yun have the guts to accept it? The crowd sucked in a breath of cold air. 20 black crystal cards. How much of a fortune was that? The teachers here all had high statuses. They definitely wouldn't be able to take out 20 black crystal cards. Furthermore, as a formation master, their expenditure was much higher than ordinary people. For example, buying various materials was definitely a huge expenditure. Hearing Lin Fei's words, they couldn't help but feel envious. They had lived their entire lives. Not to mention 20 black crystal cards, they wouldn't even be able to take out 5. As a senior, Yun Zhongtian did have a certain amount of wealth. 20 black crystal cards was still very tempting. He thought, this old man has been lacking money to buy materials recently. This brat actually dares to take out 20 black crystal cards for a bet. Does he really think that he's the newcomer king and that he's invincible? Chapter 2431. Array Formation Training Field. Inside the Capital Institute, there were several subjects, and each subject had a specific square. Each square was decorated with special materials. Array formations naturally had a specific practice square. Array formations were a very taxing subject. Not only did they have to learn how to calculate and analyze, but they also needed time to set them up. When Director Chin brought them to the array formation training field, the students who were practicing stopped and looked at them in surprise. What's going on? Director Chin is here. Elder Yin is here too. Is he going to teach us a new array formation, or is he here to inspect it? Look, everyone, isn't that the newcomer king Lin Fei? Is he going to join the array formation department to learn about restriction formations? The group of people arrived at the delay square. Everyone stop. A lecturer said loudly, "You're in for a treat today. The newcomer king, Lin Fei, is going to challenge 10 lecturers from our array formation department. Even Elder Yin will be participating. This is a great opportunity. Don't miss it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." This lecturer was from Yun Zhongtian. He announced the news as soon as he came up, not giving Director Chin and Lin Fei a chance to regret. Chun Yuanshan sneered in his heart. Let's see who regrets later. Sure enough, as soon as the lecturer's words fell, there was an uproar. The newcomer king was going to challenge 10 experts in array formations. Even Elder Yin would be participating. This was definitely a sensational event. Apart from being shocked, everyone was more suspicious. Was this junior brother of theirs not knowing how to appreciate favors? What right did he have to compete with 10 experts in array formations? The students who were able to enter the formation department were all geniuses of the previous years. They were especially talented in the Tao of formations. Compared to ordinary people, their comprehension ability was extraordinary. A month's worth of study for others was only a week for these geniuses, and some might not even need a week. The field of array formations was not something that could be achieved by immersing oneself in hard work. The important thing was to learn and comprehend. Once comprehended, array formations would become very simple and easy. Elder Yin, what right does Lin Fei have to compete with us? He's just a second-stage professional. A young man with a feminine aura stared coldly at Lin Fei. If he wants to challenge the lecturer, he'll have to ask us first. As soon as the effeminate young man stepped forward, a group of people behind him immediately echoed. Yes, the newcomer king is nothing. Our brother's son is the best. How dare any Tom, Dick, or Harry spar with a lecturer? Do they really think they're the best? The effeminate young man was one of the geniuses in the array formations course. His name was Lin Sun, and he was ranked in the top 5. Lin Sen's words had a lot of influence in the array formations course. In addition, Lin Sun was one of Yun's personal disciples. Yun Zhongtian said angrily, "Shao Sun, how can you say that? This is something that we discussed with President Chin. What are you doing here?" Although he said so, there was still a hint of pride on his face. "Chun Yuanshan, let's see how you fight with me. 4 of the top 5 geniuses in the array formation course are my people. Today, I will make you suffer a crushing defeat." Yun Zhongtian was secretly proud of himself. If not for the old dean's words, Yun Zhongtian would have become the vice dean long ago. Yun Zhongtian would definitely not miss such a good opportunity today. He wanted to let Chun Yuanshan know that he was the one with the most authority in the array department. Chun Yuanshan's complexion didn't look too good. He didn't have a good impression of this Lin senator. His innate talent wasn't bad, but he had a flamboyant temperament. In addition, he was one of Yun Zhongtian's direct disciples. He had become very overbearing and wouldn't listen to ordinary lectures. Lin Sun said gloomily, "Teacher, I'm just sharing the burden with you. Who knows if Lin Fei is really that capable? What if he looks good but is useless? If word gets out, I will be laughed at by the other lecturers. I have some skills, so it's fine even if I lose. I can also test Lin Fei's ability. Dean Chin, don't you think so? I'm doing this for the sake of the array department. Lin Sun was very good at talking. Although he sounded dignified, he was actually targeting Lin Fei and Chen Yuanshan. If Chen Yuanshan rejected Lin Sun's words, it would mean that he didn't respect them, and Yun Zhongtian would have a reason to make things difficult for him, regardless of whether Chen Yuanshan agreed or not. Chen Yuanshan was destined to lose this time. Chen Yuanshan glanced at Lin Sun and said, "Lin Sun, you are very good. No wonder Elder Yun thinks highly of you. You are always thinking about the honor of the array department. However, if you want to fight with Lin Fei, you must get Lin Fei's approval. This matter must be approved by Lin Fei. As long as he has no problem with it, then it's fine." Lin Fei didn't think that Chen Yuanshan's prestige in the array department would be so low. A Heaven's Chosen One dared to use Yun Zhongtian's power to go against Din Qin. If a Heaven's Chosen One dared to do this, then the other Heaven's Chosen Ones would follow suit. Sooner or later, they would be overthrown by others. "Little Lin, I'm really sorry. I didn't expect the situation to turn out like this." Chen Yuanshan said to Lin Fei that Lin Sun is the direct disciple of old devil Yun Zhongtian. In the array department, he has the strength of the top 5. He is very good at arranging arrays. Lin Fei disagreed. "Elder Brother Chen, you don't need to apologize. I am very grateful that you invited me here. It's just a small matter. I will help you deal with it. However, I might be a bit heavy-handed." "It doesn't matter." Chen Yuanshan didn't have a good impression of Lin's senator. This guy often used the old devil to show off in front of him. Almost all of his direct disciples were secretly taught a lesson by Lin. Senator Chen Yuanshan had been suppressing his anger. "Little Lin, as long as no one dies, it's fine. After all, when you fight, it's inevitable that you can't control it, especially when you have just mastered an array." Lin Fei said in his heart, "It seems that Elder Brother Chen doesn't have a good impression of this Lin Sun." The exchange between the two was very fast and finished in an instant. Chen Yuanshan just happened to look over. Lin Fei took a step forward and released his aura. He looked down at Lin Sun and said, "You want to compare notes with me? Do you know that I love to spar? However, there has to be a stake. If there isn't, I won't play. Looking at you, you don't seem to have much money, so I'll just take a loss. I'll bet 2 black crystal cards with you." At this time, Lin Fei's aura was very imposing. He seemed especially arrogant and overbearing. That wanton look in his eyes was a kind of provocation to Lin Sr. What a big tone. 2 black crystal cards are nothing. Lin Sun had received his teacher's words. He wanted to attack Lin Fei in all aspects. "I'll bet 10 black crystal cards with you. If you want to play, let's play big." With Yun Zhongtian's support, the black crystal cards were nothing. If they were alone, 2 black crystal cards would be an astronomical figure. "As you wish. 10 black crystal cards it is."